Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone's having a great Friday thus far, and hopefully an enjoyable weekend upcoming for a lot of people. Figured I'd hop on, do some live content for a little bit, just hang out and chill. If anyone hops in, definitely up for more conversation around, as usual, most pop culture topics at this point. So, but beyond that, just figured I'd talk a little bit of Comic Con and do a little bit of like bracket stuff. I feel like the whole like March Madness bracket stuff's always fun. So I found a few like movie related or like character related brackets just to kind of run through as far as like picking who comes out on top with those. I feel like those are a little bit easier than like creating your own a lot of times because there's like a set population of like, all right, I can't pick every movie, but of the ones on here, here's how they rank up against each other. So should be a good time kind of run through some of those. And as I said, yeah, just talking other conversations. If anyone has any suggestions as far as any of the brackets that we could do, definitely share your feedback as far as like, hey, I want to see you run through, I don't know. A few of the examples of ones I plan to do today are like movies or like horror icons, stuff like that. So if you have any opinions of ones you want me to see if are available, definitely share that as well. But as I mentioned kind of at the top, also in the title here, Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. So a lot of stuff typically comes out of that as far as like announcements. I actually went to San Diego Comic-Con years ago. It was like right before the pandemic. So it was a really great time. If anyone ever gets the opportunity, I definitely recommend like going because it's kind of cool to do like panels and then like seeing a lot of cool people and stuff like that. So it's a lot though. So I would say have a plan. That's my advice because I feel like by the end of the weekend, I was like, oh, we missed out on some of these other things because there's so much to do that you want to make sure you get to do everything that you really are interested in doing. So maybe I'll share some photos from that convention years ago. But beyond that, yeah, let's see if I don't know if there's been any major announcements out of Comic-Con. Let me check to see. A lot of times it's like Marvel stuff, or I think there was like a panel on Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know if there's a whole lot of like collectible announcements we can see with that. I feel like from like Tamashi, there's not a whole lot that really got shared. Obviously, there's the convention exclusives, the Gohan, Creative Vegeta, and King Piccolo. So those are now available at the convention, and then I imagine sometime after the convention they'll be available online. But I don't think I noticed a lot of announcements from them. I know we have like the Dracula Mihawk from One Piece coming out, but I think that was announced previously. They're bringing back the legendary Goku figure, the like buffed up one from the Namek stuff. But that's not really a major announcement. So I don't feel like I've noticed a whole lot coming out of it thus far. But it is only Friday, so we still have a few more days to kind of run through things. But I don't know. That's kind of, I guess it was last Comic-Con is when the whole Dexter stuff came out. So there's a lot of like news you can definitely get from Comic-Con announcements and stuff. So, but I haven't heard about much this year thus far. So we'll see if more comes as we're kind of streaming as well. I'll try to keep an eye on stuff a little bit, but I haven't seen any major news thus far. As mentioned, I think a lot of it winds up being like Marvel stuff, but I haven't paid too much attention on that side of stuff. Kind of superhero related. The Toxic Avengers one that I have an interest in. I don't really know much about the lore, but the trailer for that one intrigued me. So we'll see what happens with that. Speaking of figure arts too, I don't know if I'll wind up doing a review on this. If anyone's interested, let me know. But I did wind up getting the Bakugo figure. We'll get a little bit of glare. So maybe I'll wind up reviewing this guy. And I've kind of gotten into My Hero Academia lately, so I have not gotten the Deku at this point. I think he's pretty sold out, but I imagine they'll restock him at some point. But I figured I'd grab this guy, and he looks pretty cool overall. I feel like the problem is, in some ways, I'm like a little bit of too perfectionist with getting collectibles compared to the QC that you get nowadays. Because I already noticed I haven't opened them yet, but the one faceplate has like red marking on the face. I'm like, oh, that's not great. Maybe I can try to get that off, but seems like a cool figure, so maybe I'll check that out and open it and do some kind of review on the channel at some point. But yeah, so as mentioned, we'll keep an eye on Comic-Con stuff kind of throughout the stream, but let's do some of the bracket stuff. And there's a couple websites I found for this, and we'll just start off with one of them, not getting into the like too heavy stuff. We'll just start with kind of like a light, fun bracket to do some examples of what this is really all about. So let me throw in some music too. I kind of meant to do that right away. Just have some background tunes. All right, so let me also now grab you. That should pop up. Okay, cool. I'm going to be bouncing browsers, so hopefully things stay up correctly. I'm going to slide over here too so that you can see me. I think you should be able to read for the most part what's on the bracket, but I'll talk through it either way. This first one, I figured it's kind of a fun, silly one, is candy, so like Halloween candy for the most part. And my opinion for like how I would like rank candy overall, I feel like it's changed so dramatically in like since I was a kid till now. Because when I was a kid, I was definitely more of a fan of the like gummy, fruity, flavored stuff more than chocolate. Like I was a big Skittles, Twizzlers, that kind of stuff. But I feel like now that I've gotten older, a lot of that stuff I don't enjoy as much. You definitely can't eat a ton of it. I feel like it's kind of like candy corn where it's like, you can only have so much of that before you feel gross afterwards. But I feel like in more recent years, I have gravitated towards chocolate for that reason. So I think my answers are probably going to be different than they would have been when I was younger. But let's take a look and see. I'm going to try to do this from the perspective of what I would want to eat right now. So that's probably going to impact a lot of this. So right off the bat, we have Airheads and Reese's Pieces. I don't know. I mean, Airheads actually aren't too bad. They are obviously more in that like gummy category that I mentioned. I haven't had an Airhead in a long time. I feel like since like probably when I was a kid. Reese's Pieces are kind of overrated. I like the Reese's flavor, but Reese's Pieces, like the candy coating, I don't know. It feels like it's a little bit too much candy coating for what you get. We'll keep Reese's Pieces alive here though, because I don't know. I don't think Airheads really take it for me. Almond Joy and Baby Ruth. I've kind of grown to like almond and candy more as I've gotten older as well. I feel like Almond Joy is kind of an older person candy, but I don't know if I've had it recently enough to really have it be viewed as super favorable for me. So we'll say Baby Ruth. We'll click on that one. Okay, this feels like a bit of a two juggernauts right off the bat. Like, I don't know who picked the bracket ranking for this, but Butterfinger and Snickers to me feel like they're both like #1 seeds. I don't know. Someone's getting kind of screwed over in the bracketing here. I really enjoy both. When I was young, well, honestly, I liked both when I was younger. Like Butterfingers was kind of one of the examples of an exception to me liking something chocolate based. Snickers was one of the better like bars though too, like the ice cream Snickers. If you ever had those too, maybe surprising, but I'll go with Butterfinger. All right, this next one, I don't think I really know either of these, so that tells you how long they're probably going to survive. We have something Dairy Milk and then Ferrero Rocher. We'll just pick the second one. I don't think I know really either of those. All right, Haribo. So this is like the gummy bears, presumably. And then we have Hershey's Kisses. Even when I liked gummy stuff, gummy bears don't really do much for me. I think there's not really much there. Hershey Kisses are kind of bland as well, but honestly, I think at this point, I'm going to maybe shock people and pick the Hershey's Kisses. All right, we have regular Hershey's and then 100 grand. I think this one, if we're talking just the regular like milk chocolate Hershey's, it's kind of boring. 100 grand has some variety in it. It's kind of it's not really new anymore, but I feel like it came about a little bit after my like trick-or-treating era. We're going to grab it though, because I do like kind of the variety compared to the bland, just chocolate. Okay, this one, Jelly Bean is kind of, I probably had it a little bit more than Gummy Bears, but it's once again just kind of gross. It's not much to it. Jolly Ranchers, I think I'm going to go with. It's just like, I don't know. There's not much, if you have like too many of those, it's kind of problematic, but you can just like suck on it, it's fine. It's not a major deal, so. I think with that one, you don't feel totally sick, but if you had like 10 of them, maybe it'd be a problem. Kit Kat and Milky Way. These are two that honestly I never was like high on. I think Kit Kats are a little bit overrated. I like wafery things, but maybe blasphemous, but we're going to go with Milky Way on this one. All right, so M&M's is one that I never really got into. As I said earlier, I wasn't a big chocolate person growing up, and I don't think M&M's do much more for me like nowadays either. The variety M&M's, if we're talking like peanut or like the peanut butter ones or the crispy ones, that's a different story, but regular M&M's, Three Musketeers are okay. Like they're like fluffy, they're whatever for the most part, but I think they beat out M&M's for me. Nerds and Reese's. Nerds I used to love. They've kind of fallen to the wayside. Reese's, still a great choice. All right, we have Rolo and Skittles. I don't think even at this point Rolo does much, so we're going to take Skittles. This one's interesting. Snickers almond. So I feel like if I've had this, I've probably only had it like a handful of times. Sour Patch Kids, I've had a ton, but I don't know. If I was going to eat one of them, I may lean Snickers almond. I mean, Sour Patch Kids are kind of iconic. We'll keep them, although I would debate upsetting it with the almond Snickers. Starburst and Swedish Fish. So Swedish Fish I never really got into. It's the gummy bear thing again. Starbursts were one of my go-tos as far as like a fruity flavored candy. Reese's Take 5 or Toblerone. I don't know. Both of these are like kind of whatever to me. We'll take Reese's Take 5. I don't know if I've ever actually had it, but I've had a Take 5 bar, so I'm assuming that's what that is. You should be working on the next Dexter review. I should be. I actually haven't even watched the episode yet. I probably will tonight. So I'll probably put something out this weekend on it. I just forgot to hop on and do some live stuff. But yeah, I am behind on the whole Dexter stuff. Hopefully did you enjoy the episode? I haven't watched your review yet, obviously, since I haven't watched the episode. But were you a fan of it? All right, now we have Trolley, Bright Crawlers, or Twix. Back in the day, it would have been definitely the Worms. I think for today's standards, we're going to say the Twix. Werther's Original, I don't really know what that is, and York Patty, I'm indifferent towards, but I at least know what it is, so we'll pick that. All right, going back up to the top here. Reese's Pieces or Baby Ruth? I think we'll take the Baby Ruth, honestly. Has some texture, variety. Another solid episode. That's good to hear. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I kind of assume where we're going with it. I assume he's going to meet all the other serial killers and meet Peter Dinklage finally, and I have a feeling, I feel like from the promotional material, it seemed like Kristen Ritter, I don't know if she was going to be like a love interest, but it seemed like he was going to get like super close to her. So I imagine that may not have developed yet, but I feel like that's the direction we're headed. And then I expect Batista to show up and like hang out with Harrison before he finds Dexter would be my guess. But I'm still curious if Batista tells him that Dexter's alive. So if any of that happens in the next episode, well, I guess this episode I'll find out. But that's good to hear. It's at least a solid episode. What would you say your ranking of the 4 episodes thus far would be? If you had to like, I think you gave a numerical score to them all, so that may be the answer. But allowing yourself to maybe change your thoughts, how would you rank the first 4? We're gonna go with Butterfinger. Easy choice there. Another easy choice, 100 grand. It actually has some like variety to it. Bland, like dark chocolate, just bland by itself is fine, but like milk chocolate, just with nothing else in it, is kind of not a big fan of it. Jolly Rancher Milky Way. Ooh, we'll take the Milky Way. As I said, back in the day, I would have leaned more towards the fruit-based candies, but chocolate is kind of more my style these days. Reese's, like peanut butter with chocolate, easy choice there. This one, Skittles, honestly was probably my favorite as a kid, so we're gonna progress that at least for now. We'll take Starburst here because I'm assuming this one's a Take 5 bar, but I haven't had a ton of those. I feel like those came out kind of later, similar to 100 grand. And then we'll take Twix to wrap it up. Twix is kind of a sneaky, it's like Snickers as far as quality. 3142, all solid though. Okay. I think my thoughts of the first three were probably 1, 2, 3. So let's hope 4 doesn't come in fourth. But you really like 3. So, but I think a lot of people did. I think most people were, which I liked it. I just wasn't like as mesmerized by it as a lot of people felt like they were. All right, this one, Butterfinger is definitely my go-to. Ooh, 100 grand or Milky Way? I guess we'll take Milky Way. It's got more of the like longevity to it. This like would be a good finals. We're gonna say Reese's though. Yeah. And then we're gonna go with Twix, I think. So here's like, if you did this 20 years ago, Skittles and Starburst would have advanced there, but I've definitely migrated towards chocolate, as you can see by all of our final 4 here. All right, so we're gonna go with Butterfinger, and we're gonna go with Reese's. Of those two, I think Reese's comes out on top. So of this bracket, obviously there wasn't every candy on it, but my go-to candy's Reese's. And I think that's about right. I think some places, or some of these didn't get as far as they should have. Like, as I said, Snickers kind of got screwed in that first round matchup, but Reese's sounds about right. All right, this website has a few more of these, so we'll do some more of these before we pivot away. JDev, just for you, we will do animated movies. I know it's your go-to topic to discuss. We'll kind of fly through it, though. I recorded my favorite TV shows of all time this past Sunday and will be available 8/2. I'm editing now. Nice. I know when I was talking about that a bit, it sounded like you've had changes since your previous list. How recently did you feel like you had to make updates? Top 50? I also do feel like I could do probably that many. It just would be a very lengthy conversation. And like, I don't know, 30 through 50, I'd be kind of just putting things places that was kind of very small differences to rank them. You made many changes? That makes sense. I mean, if you're going to make a new list, it's probably because there's a lot of changes. All right, right off rip here, we have Aladdin versus Beauty and the Beast. Easy choice, Aladdin. No options there. Big Hero 6 and Brave. I was a big fan of Big Hero 6. I don't feel like we got like the sequel that we were kind of promised, but I feel like that's a sneaky, like, fun story. Good characters. Cars and Colliding with a Chance of Meatballs. I'll take Cars there. The Croods and Despicable Me. We'll take Despicable Me. Frozen versus How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon. Ice Age versus Incredibles. So I haven't like seen all the Incredibles movies, so I probably don't have like the deep appreciation for that franchise as much as a lot of people. I know they're like super highly rated. We're gonna go with the Ice Age. It's just what I'm gonna roll with. Inside Out versus Kung Fu Panda. We'll go with Inside Out. Lego versus The Lion King. I'm assuming the original Lego movie. We're gonna take The Lion King. It's classic. Little Mermaid versus Madagascar. I mean, as far as my interests, we'll say Madagascar. Megamind and Moana. We'll say Megamind. Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo. Those are both solid. That's a tough first round matchup. Honestly, Nemo is the Snickers of this bracket because we're gonna go with Monsters Inc. But You're kind of snubbing a really good movie in Finding Nemo. We'll take Shrek over Ratatouille. Soul versus Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's kind of I feel like Into the Spider-Verse does not fit the vibe of the rest of these movies. These are like Pixar, Disney, and it's like a Sony high production animated movie. But we're going to go with it. Tangled and Toy Story. Toy Story, classic. First Pixar movie, I believe. Trolls and Up. Big fan of Up. And then WALL-E and Zootopia. I think they're making it Zootopia 2 now, but WALL-E, he's an awesome character. You spend hours debating placements of shows. Yeah, that's the problem. But I think if you just allow yourself to like make changes in the future, then it becomes less like stressful to be like, okay, you're locked in at this spot. Because otherwise you get analysis paralysis and then you just never wind up talking about it because you're afraid of like disrespecting something that you really enjoy. All right, Aladdin, Big Hero 6. So classic iconic film. We're gonna say Big Hero 6. The new Bee on the Block kind of like takes that one. Despicable Me and Cars, we'll take Despicable Me. That franchise is kind of like blown up all over the place. How to Train Your Dragon, we'll take that over Ice Age. This is a close one. Inside Out and Lion King. We'll go old school for this one, say Lion King. Madagascar and Megamind. I think we'll say Megamind. Another one with two juggernauts, honestly. Ooh. We'll say Shrek, but that's a really tough matchup. Into the Spider-Verse versus Toy Story. Wow. Both really well done. We'll take Toy Story. Up and WALL-E. Love them both, but Up's gonna come out on top with that one. Big Hero 6 and Despicable Me. I think Big Hero 6 continues its reign. How to Train Your Dragon and The Lion King. Kind of a weird combo. We'll say The Lion King. Once again, kind of a classic. Shrek versus Megamind. We're going to go with Shrek for this one. And then Toy Story versus Up. So I do really appreciate Toy Story. But Up is great in so many ways. Big Hero 6 and The Lion King. We're going to take Big Hero 6. It's been our Cinderella, this bracket overall. Shrek versus Up. Ooh. We're going to go with Up for this one. And then Up versus Big Hero 6. So I think the Cinderella story ends here. Up's it probably is my favorite Pixar movie, if I'm being honest. So Up takes the trophy on this one. Obviously, once again, we don't have every animated movie, so it's just whatever the population here had. But I think Up may be my favorite animated like Pixar movie. So reasonable winner for that one. All right, JDev may be more interested in this one. Best to binge shows. So I guess there's different ways to look at this. Which show would I rather binge, or which show is my favorite on this list? Because two different kind of questions. I think I'm going to view it as favorite shows on this list of shows that were selected as binge-worthy shows. I don't even know if we have Dexter. I don't even see Dexter on here. Probably Blasphemous, but once again, kind of the fun of doing a bracket because they choose whatever movie or shows are on this one. All right, Big Bang Theory and Black Mirror. I know, JDev, you've been doing your Big Bang Theory reviews, but that's not like a comedy style that I really got into. This list is canceled. Yeah, that's fair. It does say best to binge shows. You would think that Dexter would be worthwhile. You're gonna cancel me here, but Black Mirror for me is the answer. I like a lot of Black Mirror episodes. Obviously, it's an anthology, so they don't relate to each other entirely, other than a couple of them. But I actively like Black Mirror. I don't really care for Big Bang Theory. You finish your Big Bang Theory reviews. Nice. I'm assuming you're not doing like, what was it, Young Sheldon? Isn't that the spinoff they had? Since every time there's a successful show, we have to do a spinoff. But yeah, I'm gonna say Black Mirror. You haven't watched any of Black Mirror? I would check it out. So I mean, you're obviously into horror. If you're into like, obviously this reference is a little bit dated, but Twilight Zone, a lot of like technology related concepts. I really enjoyed, like, if I were you, I maybe would look up like top episodes because they are an anthology. So you don't really have to watch any of the other ones in the show. Honestly, when I started watching it, I don't know if they still do this, but at the time Netflix like defaulted. I started watching during season 3, I think it was. And it defaulted to like season 3 being the first thing that showed up. And we wound up watching the first episode and really enjoyed it and continued watching like all of them. But if they had started on season 1, episode 1, and I watched that one, I probably wouldn't have continued the show. I don't know if what the general consensus is on episode 1 of season 1 with Black Mirror, but it's vastly different than a lot of the other episodes. Like there is some kind of dark aspect to pretty much all of them, but the like concept they went with in that first episode, I wouldn't recommend starting with it. If you're going to start with one of them, look pretty much everywhere else. And as I said, maybe look for like highly rated ones because you don't have to watch all the other ones. But they're fun. They're like having this concept of like a futuristic idea and technology advancing and kind of the conflict that can actually come like with that. Like there's one where you can like remember old memories and stuff like that, and the guy gets like stuck with that, or brings back like a dead spouse, or you know, the first one, as I said, I watched was episode 1 of season 1, and that's one where it's kind of mocking Facebook and stuff like that a bit, where it's like, oh, the amount of likes that you get, or I guess YouTube even, the amount of likes that you get like improves your social status. So it's kind of pointing out like the negatives that can come with some of the like scientific advances that we do have. All right, next one, we have Breaking Bad and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I do appreciate Breaking Bad. I know I don't rate it as highly as a lot of people. I haven't ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so it could be fun. I know some of the like actors that are on that show, but I never checked it out. I'm gonna say Breaking Bad for this one. I feel like it'd be probably blasphemous to say anything else. Yeah, I think it probably takes that one. All right, Chernobyl and The Crown. So maybe hot take, I don't know. I haven't seen either of these. Chernobyl sounds like a cooler title to me, so I probably lean that way, but like The Crown gives me the idea of like a royalty show, and I'm not huge into those. So I don't know, Jada, if you watched any of these, but I have not, and by default, I think I'm going to say Chernobyl, unless you have big hype for The Crown. All right, Doctor Who and Fleabag. So I've seen some of Fleabag. I haven't ever watched Doctor Who. Insert Dexter and have Dexter move on. Yeah, right. Swap out there. Doctor Who and Fleabag. I haven't watched Doctor Who. Fleabag I've watched a little bit of. It was kind of funny. So based off of just limited viewing, we'll take Fleabag. Friends and The Good Place. Maybe also cancel worthy, but Friends is not like an era that I really got into. I have watched some of The Good Place, and I should probably continue it. I've enjoyed what I've watched thus far. I just kind of stopped. But Friends is not like a nostalgia for me. Yeah, I'm going to go with The Good Place as well. Game of Thrones and Grey's Anatomy. Similar situation here. I've watched some of Game of Thrones, like a few episodes, and they were good. Grey's Anatomy doesn't feel like it's my style, so by default, we kind of advanced that one. The Handmaid's Tale and The Haunting of Hill House. Let me make sure that... Jada, I assume the music in the background too is at a decent level. Handmaid's Tale and Haunting of Hill House. I watched The Haunting of Hill House. It kind of underwhelmed me. I was wanting to like it more, but I don't think I've ever watched The Handmaid's Tale, so We're going to take The Haunting of Hill House. Judge Judy in The Mandalorian. I mean, I've obviously seen Judge Judy before, just being on like TV all the time. I've only watched one episode of The Mandalorian, the first episode, and by that alone, I'm going to pick that because I don't feel like watching Judge Judy is necessarily a fun time. I get that it's like binge-worthy maybe, but I feel like Judge Judy is like solely for if you're like a sick child and stuck at home, and that was like what was on TV at like 10 a.m. Yvonne Strahovski's in The Handmaid's Tale, so the moves by default. All right, so you got a little bit of Hannah McKay here. That's what you're saying. All right, The Marvelous Miss Maisel and Narcos. I feel like I would probably like Narcos, but I haven't seen it, and I think by default I'm going to pick that solely off of like it seems like it's something more I would enjoy. The Office and Parks and Rec. So I haven't really given Parks and Rec a fair shot, but The Office is one of my favorites, and I know they're kind of similar humor. Kind of weird to match them up once again. Maybe these like matchups pick similar type of things, but we're going to go with The Office. Peaky Blinders and The Queen's Gambit. Once again, I have not seen either of these. I know they're two very popular shows. I feel like The Queen's Gambit was more like, had like, it's like 10 minutes of fame and then kind of got forgotten about. Peaky Blinders, I feel like I hear more about more actively in long, like periods of time. As a bitch for these, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who would put that. The only thing I could think is if it's on TV, you just like don't change the channel because you're at like the doctor's office or something and it's like on TV, but not something I would pick. We're going to say Peaky Blinders, but I don't have much experience. Rick and Morty and Better Call Saul. I have some enjoyment with both of these. I haven't watched the entirety of either one. I feel like Rick and Morty humor can be a little bit too much for me sometimes. So we'll say Better Call Saul. I was enjoying it when I was watching it. Yeah, I figured you'd pick Better Call Saul. Sherlock and The Simpsons. Never watched Sherlock. I wasn't super big on The Simpsons. Definitely more of a South Park fan, but I can appreciate their longevity. We're going to say The Simpsons. The Sopranos and Stranger Things. What an interesting combo. I've never watched The Sopranos. I mean, I've seen like an episode here and there, but I know huge following. Viewed as one of the best shows of all time. Not today. We're taking Stranger Things. Ted Lasso and The Walking Dead. Is Jadav about to cancel me again? So I've seen some of both shows. I'm on like season 4 of The Walking Dead. I was on like halfway through season 2 of Ted Lasso. Once again, I'm viewing these as like shows I enjoyed, not necessarily rating their binge worthiness. I don't know if my answers would change if I looked at that as opposed to like what I liked. We are going to say Ted Lasso. I'm definitely going to be canceled after that one, but from what I've seen, it's definitely a nice like feel-good story. Westworld and The Witcher. Westworld's another one where I feel like they had like their very much so like 10 minutes of popularity and then nobody talked about it again. Did it want to be even getting finished? I don't really know. I'm done with this channel. Have you watched Ted Lasso though, Jadav? I'll ask you that. If you've watched it and you still put Walking Dead first, that's fair. But if you haven't watched it, then I think you have to check it out first. I only watched like one episode of The Witcher and I didn't really care for it, but it's more than I've watched of Westworld, and I like The Witcher as a concept. I just haven't like dove into the TV show. So we'll say The Witcher. I would say give it a shot if you, I mean, it's obviously about soccer, but it's not really a big thing with it. If you like Jason Sudeikis at all, I would say check it out. Black Mirror and Breaking Bad. Westworld had good moments. Yeah, it was like super talked about back in the day. Did they wind up finishing it or did it get canceled? I feel like it just kind of like disappeared randomly. This is tough because there are probably some Black Mirror episodes. Well, trying to think about all of them. They have some pretty good twists and turns in some of those. I think the answer is probably Breaking Bad. It's more consistent. There's some Black Mirror episodes that don't like do super well. But yeah, we'll go with that. Chernobyl and Fleabag, by default, because I've only seen Fleabag, we'll take Fleabag. The Good Place versus Game of Thrones. Ooh. Kind of interesting, like, variety of genres here. We have, like, the feel-good comedy versus, like, the very visceral, like, medieval, grungy drama series. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I know people really, I don't know much about how it like ends, but I know people really hate the Game of Thrones ending. But I assume if I watched it, I would probably get into it. We'll take Game of Thrones here. I think I've probably watched like 3 episodes of both of these though. The Haunting of Hill House and The Mandalorian. So I watched all of The Haunting of Hill House, and I only watched 1 episode of The Mandalorian. But I think we're going to take The Mandalorian because while I thought it was a fine show, I didn't really get the hype of The Haunting of Hill House. I don't feel like there was really much that happened. Like, they tried to be spooky here and there, but we'll say The Mandalorian. Narcos and The Office. Easy choice for me, The Office. We're going to take Better Call Saul over Peaky Blinders. Stranger Things over The Simpsons. And we'll take Ted Lasso over The Witcher. Not The Witcher as a concept once again, because I enjoy the games, but The Witcher TV show. All right, Breaking Bad and Fleabag. Breaking Bad will advance here. Game of Thrones and The Mandalorian. So 2 shows I haven't watched a whole lot that had a lot of fanfare around them. I think we'll give Game of Thrones the edge here. The Office and Better Call Saul. I mean, it's The Office. And JW, you may know where this is going based off of my TV rankings. Stranger Things and Ted Lasso. We'll take Stranger Things. Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. Oh, you want a Better Call Saul? Yeah, I'm a fan of The Office. I always thought, similar to my thoughts on like Big Bang Theory or any of those, I always kind of thought The Office humor wasn't that funny. But when you watched it from start to finish, finally, I was like, okay, this actually works for me. You think Game of Thrones over Breaking Bad? Really? I thought if I did that, you would have thought I was canceled. Since I haven't seen all of Game of Thrones, so I can't judge it, I'm going to pick Breaking Bad because I've watched all of Breaking Bad. I know how it ends. Probably the best ending in like TV show history. And my brief opinion of what I've seen in my lifetime. Not the best TV show, but could be the best ending in TV. Game of Thrones this one. So that's what puts it over the edge for you. That's fair. The Office versus Stranger Things. I mean, The Office is complete. Stranger Things, we haven't gotten Stranger Things 5 yet, so there's a lot that could change with that. But for now, it is The Office. Lost has the best ending. Breaking Bad, second best ending. I disagree. I don't think Lost ending was as like bad as I remember hearing about it being. But it's definitely not, I would say, the best. I'm surprised Lost isn't on this list, to be honest. Breaking Bad and The Office. I mean, it's The Office. Honestly, as far as like binge-worthy shows, The Office may be the winner also because like it's shorter episodes. It's very easy to digest. You're not really hit with too many like gut punch things that you need to like take a break from watching. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fine ending. I just don't think it was too groundbreaking in my opinion. Which, I mean, if they went too much, I feel like I remember hearing like a falsehood about like everyone's like, oh, none of it was real. It's like, no, it was real. They just are now like waiting for the others at that point. But I thought it was fine. I mean, I kind of binged that entire show last year from start to finish. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily, I wouldn't put it as like my favorite of all time either. All right, let me switch over to this other website and hopefully these show up okay. The problem is some of these have like different sizing, so let's see how this goes. All right, so let's throw that up first and then that up. All right, that should be visible. So we've moved on. Different website. We are now doing horror movie icons. And I'm going to have to decide how I'm going to rate this too. Like, what's our criteria? I think for this one, I'm going to be different than the previous 3 that we did. I'm not going to pick my favorite character. I'm going to pick who I view as the most iconic. I mean, maybe we can do both. We'll see how long this takes to do both. And maybe that'll... we'll see if we get a different answer. Maybe we'll wind up with the same answer. But we'll go with iconic at this point. So regardless of how much I enjoy them as a character, how iconic are they? From this first one, I mean, we're talking horror movies. It's Michael Myers. Like, Alien's iconic, or the Xenomorph rather. But you could maybe debate if that should be sci-fi. So I think we're going to stay with Myers in this one. Okay, hopefully that, where's that going to show up at? That's probably fine there. Yeah, even when I click on these, the stuff shuffles around. So Chucky or Reagan from The Exorcist? I think it's Chucky. I think a lot of people think of The Exorcist, but I don't think they think of like the characters in it. I think they think of the movie more so. Yeah, Myers and Chucky feels like the choice here. I mean, when your name is in, I mean, obviously the first few were like Child's Play or whatever, but the TV show was like called Chucky. I think that answers that one. All right, this keeps moving around, so we'll see where this... Did not anticipate that necessarily. Okay, that's fine there. Ghostface versus Freddy. I think this is maybe a hot take. Obviously, we have 2 Wes Craven titles here. I think it is Ghostface. I think people think, like, they recognize the Ghostface mask. Like, if you go into a Spirit Halloween or whatever, I don't dislike Freddy. Some of his origin I don't really love. I feel like it would have been nice if it wasn't as like gross as it is, but he is a tough first round matchup. He kind of got screwed against. He is the Snickers of this matchup. I think the answer is Ghostface. All right, what do we have here? Is this the girl from The Grudge and Pamela Voorhees? I think that's what this is. It's not overly clear. I mean, Freddy should have been here. This is like a awful matchup. Most iconic. So we're not going with best. We're not going with my favorite. We're saying iconic. I think it's the Grudge girl. Either replaced with Freddy. I think it's the Grudge because when you think of Friday the 13th, you don't think of Pamela Voorhees. You think of Jason. Whereas the Grudge has her own identity there. We're going to pick that. All right, so we're finishing off this side of the bracket before we go to the other side. That's kind of different on this one. Instead of going from top to bottom, we're like finishing one side to the finals and then starting on the other side. Most iconic, Myers is over Chucky. Yeah. This one's easy. This is Ghostface. Ooh, now we have a dilemma. Myers versus Ghostface. I think once again, I think we're going to go with Ghostface here. I think Myers has more of an impact culturally to like the horror genre, but if you go to a convention, who are you going to see more of, Michael Myers or Ghostface? I think Ghostface is the answer. Like that's the reason why it was like a bad choice for them to go away from that mask for the TV show. I haven't seen the Scream TV series. I've heard like it's not great, but at some point maybe I will. All right, this is probably pretty easy. We got Leprechaun versus Mr. Texas Chainsaw over here. It's almost tied with this one, with Leatherface and Leprechaun here. It's Leatherface, right? I mean, he's more iconic. You think Leprechaun? See, but I don't think people outside of horror know who the Leprechaun is. Like, you would assume you know what leprechauns are, but I don't think if you ask somebody, hey, do you know who a leprechaun is, or do you know who Leatherface is? I don't think they do. I mean, I think they know what leprechauns are from like Lucky Charms and all that stuff, but like, if you ask somebody to tell me who plays Leprechaun, for example, I don't think people would be able to tell you that, or like, what does Leprechaun look like outside of wearing a hat that a leprechaun would wear? I don't think most people would like draw this for you. I don't think so, honestly. I mean, they do have Jennifer Aniston, so it's like got some publicity there, but I'm gonna say Leatherface. This is a very bizarre matchup. We have John Kramer Jigsaw versus Jaws. Horror movie icons. This one's a little bit harder because we have like an older character versus like a more modern character. I'm a little torn on this one because I guess it depends on your thoughts on if like Jaws is like a horror franchise. If we're going for icon, the answer is Jaws for me. Like, if you're playing a game and you're like, name, if you're trying to guess like Great White Shark or something, like, and you write Jaws, everybody knows what that is. I don't think most people could tell you what Tobin Bell looks like, unless you like the Saw franchise. I think people who haven't seen Jaws could tell you, like, yeah, that's a shark movie. So if we're saying icon, I'm going to say Jaws. All right, what do we have here? Is this The Ring and the dude from Psycho, Norman Bates? This one's tough. That is like Samara on the left, right, from The Ring. I guess if I have to ask that, maybe that answers my question. Unsubscribing. Wouldn't be the first time. It was funny, we were talking about it the other day, then like as soon as I got off stream, like, oh, somebody unsubbed. Icon, yeah, I think we go with Norman Bates as well. This is an interesting one. Pennywise versus Sam. I mean, it has two franchises. I'm going to count this as like both Tim Curry and Skarsgård. Going back to the Spirit Halloween analogy, there's so much like trick-or-treat stuff there, so we're going to go with Sam. He's not really like, I mean, I guess he's still horror, but he's more like Halloween themed. Leatherface versus Jaws. I think we say Leatherface here because Jaws has the dilemma of like, it's much longer ago. It's debatable if it's like truly horror themed or if it's, I don't know, like drama maybe or something. We'll go with Leatherface here. This side of the bracket is definitely a little bit weaker than the left, I would say. Also, do we even have... We didn't even have Jason on this one. Maybe I should have looked and found one that Jason, because I'm now realizing Jason wasn't even on this. Maybe after this, I'll look for if there is one that has him, and then I'll do favorites instead of like going with the most iconic. Here we go, Sam. Here we go, Sam again. Ghostface versus Sam. I mean, Sam can appeal to a lot of like age demographics. I think maybe what the difference for me is that people have decorations of both of these. They may even have a little bit more of Trick or Treat, but people don't cosplay as Sam as much as they do Ghostface. It's a pretty easy setup, and if you're not really into the Halloween like theme, you may not know Sam. Whereas like back in the day, everybody had like the bleeding face Ghostface costume. So we're gonna go with that. So that's our champion. All right, let me see if I can find. Whoops, I think that fell off. If I can find one that has Jason on it, because I'm surprised. I thought I grabbed one that did. Let's see. Okay, here's one. All right, let me pop this back up. Watch us wind up with the same answer anyway. Okay. Okay, so we have this one. Should we go? We'll go favorite instead of iconic. I don't know if it'll change anything. We'll see. We'll say Ghostface over Pennywise. I like them both, but Ghostface as a character I enjoy more. All right, so we got the whole Jack Nicholson from The Shining here, or Jaws. Oh, I mean, it's weird to judge Jaws as a character because it's like you don't have a personality. If we were doing iconic, I would probably pick Jaws here, but we're doing favorites now. You know what? I don't think we'll go with Jack Torrance. Well, I don't have the big attachment to The Shining that a lot of people do, but I don't really have that same attachment to Jaws either. Hannah McKay's spin-off show just announced at Comic-Con. I do not believe you. I've been trying to keep an eye on some Comic-Con stuff, but I don't know. I don't think I believe you. Happy early April Fool's Day, I wish. Yeah. They're not even progressing on their Trinity one just yet. Do we even have like a date for that? I feel like that's just like an idea at this point. If that airs before they finish Original Sin and Resurrection, and we have 3 Dexter shows going on at once, that would just be absurd. We're going to say Jaws here. Okay. So we're doing favorites here again at this point. So we're not doing more iconic. So we're going to go with good old John Kramer here. And we're going to take Jason over Killer Clowns. Ghostface. Interesting matchup. So I definitely like the Saw movies more than the Friday the 13th movies. What character do I like more? If we were doing iconic, Jason would have won here easily. Like, slam dunk, Jason wins if we're doing iconic, but we're doing favorites now. It's hard because similar to like the animal thing with Jaws, Kramer has a personality, whereas Jason just kind of blindly goes out there. Jason wins iconic, but we're going favorites for this bracket. So we're going to go with the Jigsaw. Ooh, Ghostface versus Jigsaw. Once again, if we're going for iconic, Ghostface wins this, but we're going for favorite. And because there's multiple Ghostfaces and I don't love them all, I think John Kramer takes this one. Okay, this is a bizarre... Leprechaun's been the first guy on the right every time. So this is not the movies, this is the character. Honestly, I think Pinhead is more iconic than Leprechaun. I know you thought Leprechaun was more iconic than Leatherface, so you probably think he's more iconic than Pinhead too. I'm not big into either franchise. I think he is more iconic than Leprechaun. He is kind of a cooler aesthetic. We're going to go with Pinhead. Okay, this is a tough first round. I think iconic or favorite, Chucky wins here. They got the Chucky TV series look too there. Xenomorph here. Candyman was not like a big one for me, so we're going to go with that. Interesting. So I think if I was going for, honestly, seeing the left side of the bracket, then also seeing the right now, if we were going for iconic, it either would have been Myers against, it probably would have been Myers against Ghostface. Either that or Myers against Jason would have been the matchup. But we're doing favorites here. I don't have a big attachment to Jason or to Michael, if I'm being honest. I always debate if Predator really counts because he's kind of more sci-fi, but it's sci-fi horror. I'm picking Predator. Easy Chucky for me on this one. This is kind of cool. Alien vs. Predator. Who do I like more? If we're doing iconic on this matchup, Alien probably wins. Once again, kind of hard because, well, Predator doesn't necessarily talk, although he does a little bit. He actually, like, interacts with humans at the very least, so... I don't know. I feel like Predator's kind of cooler, but Alien's like creepier. This is tough for me. We will say Alien, I think. And then we're going to say Chucky. And if we're going for iconic, Chucky wins here, but we're not. We're going for favorites. I think it's John Kramer. I think he's probably my go-to. I mean, he's the main reason I like the Saw franchise as much as I do. So, not in iconic, but Kramer comes out on top in the favorites of the horror icons we had here. All right, what do we have? What do we have next over here? Next one I had on here, JDev, you may fall asleep for. I don't know who's gonna be on this list, so buckle up. But we are doing a Dragon Ball characters one. You can you can chime in with your feedback, but I'm assuming you don't have much input on any of these people, so we'll be kind of quick maybe. All right, Piccolo or Videl. Videl is kind of a minor character, so it's Piccolo. All right, Dabura or Purunga. I mean, you're barely a character also. I really enjoyed Dabura as a character. I kind of wish we got more of him. Okay, is that Champa from Super and Birder? I dig Birder, so we're going to pick him. I'm kind of surprised he's on this list because I wasn't sure who was going to be on this. Mr. Popo or Dodoria? I don't know. I feel like Dodoria was kind of cool when I first watched Namek, but then he kind of doesn't do much. We'll go with a bit of a sleeper and say Popo here. Goku Black versus Zarbon. That one's intriguing. Similar to Dodoria, I don't feel like we got enough with the character of Zarbon, whereas Black got like an entire saga based on him. So we'll pick him. This is a bizarre matchup. Goldo versus King Cold. Definitely King Cold. Okay. Well, I mean, you're not in the anime yet. This is strictly a manga character over here, so I like Nappa for the most part. We're going to go with Nappa for this one. Interesting. Android 17 versus Zamasu. There's obviously a big development of 17, whether he's good or bad or whatever. So we're going to, I guess, take that all into account. I think we'll pick 17 here. Shenron versus Roshi. I'm not a big Roshi fan. I probably would be if I like really got into the original show a little bit more. Shenron's just not much of a character though, so we'll pick Roshi, I guess. All right, we have Frieza and Broly over here. That's a rough first round matchup. Unless we have like Z Broly as well in this. Picking Frieza. Okay, Bob D versus Super Boo. I think it was Super Boo on that one. Okay, apparently we have transformations because we have third form Frieza and Ginyu. We're picking Ginyu. Goku versus Goten. Easy choice there. Chi-Chi versus Hit. I think Hit's more impactful to the show. Okay, we have Kid Buu versus Raccoon. I don't really care for Raccoon, so we'll say Kid Buu. Okay, Krillin. I didn't really get into the whole like cauliflower and kale stuff a whole lot, so we'll stick with Krillin on this one. Okay, I don't know if there's going to be another side of the bracket here. I can't really see it, so we'll just assume there is. This is a tough one. I like both these. Because they're kind of equal, I'll pick kind of the underdog and go with Dabura here. Birder for sure. Ooh. Let's say Goku Black. King Cold is in like a couple episodes. This is a good one. Nappa versus Android 17. Kind of like the preliminary threat in both of their sagas. I mean, I like 17 a little bit more probably in Super because you get more backstory with him. But Nappa I really liked the first time I watched the Saiyan saga, but I feel like over time he's not... I've not really liked him as much. We're going to go with him though. He was a cool character. All right, easy choice there. That could not have gone easier. Super Buu versus Ginyu. We're going to take Ginyu. A little more personality on him. Goku over Hit for sure. Ooh, Kid Buu or Krillin? It's probably Krillin. He's in the story from start to finish. Taking Birder here. The sleeper continues to go through. Taking Nappa on this one. Final form Frieza against Ginyu. I do like the Ginyu Force. I feel like it'd be nice if we got more stuff with them before they got killed off as well, but it's hard not to take Frieza though. Goku versus Krillin. Probably Goku. Birder versus Nappa. We didn't have him for a long time, but I really dug Birder as a character. Frieza versus Goku. I mean, that is what we get most often, so. You know, I'm a little torn with this one. I think I'm going to go with Frieza. He has a few more layers to him than Goku does. Yeah. Birder versus Frieza. I really like Birder as a character, honestly. I think I'm picking him. All right, do we have a right side? We do have a right side. 18 versus Gohan. All right, so I don't know yet if this is going to be like Kid Gohan and then Adult Gohan because we had multiple forms of Frieza on the other side. But I'm going to take even Kid Gohan probably here. Cell versus Yamcha. Definitely Cell. All right, Good Buu versus... is that King Piccolo there? I need to watch like the original Dragon Ball again. We're going to say Good Buu for now. All right, easy choice. I didn't love the like Frieza copycat we had in Super. Let's go with Vegeta on this one. Kami versus... Okay, we have semi-perfect Cell now. He was kind of lame, if I'm being honest. I'm ready to go with Kami. Okay. There. Once again, we don't have you in the anime yet, so I can't judge too much. So we're going to go with Whis on this one. Ooh, Raditz versus Vegito. That's tough. He didn't get enough like development, but I think I'm going to go with Raditz because he... I don't know, he was the original like villain. He was cool. Definitely Beerus. Beerus was a surprising like cool introduction with Super. All right, we have every former Frieza on this other side. How is this fair? I mean, he's probably better than Chaozu. We're gonna take 16, I think, over Gogeta. Maybe a hot take. Yeah, I don't really... The Saiyans and Super that they added with like the other universe with Kappa here. I'm gonna take Kid Trunks kind of by default. All right, we have all the cells too. What this bracket is absurd. Tien's gonna take that one. What is this? Bulked up Super Boo or Evil Boo? I don't like Frieza first form, I guess. That's very confusing how that's its own character. I mean, is this Gohan Great Ape? I like that stuff more, regardless of if this is Gohan or Vegeta. I think this is Gohan because there's a moon behind him. But the whole like Zenny stuff in Super was just okay for me. Okay. So is this Super Gohan? This is very confusing how we have characters that are like randomly different versions of themselves. Jiren is kind of, I mean, they're both a little boring if I'm being honest, but Jiren was pretty boring across the board, so we'll go with Gohan here. This is not a fair matchup. Similar to Birder, I super enjoyed Jace, but you put him against Future Trunks, like, what do you want me to do here? Man, this is a tough one. If he was against pretty much anyone else, he may have beaten this one, but we have to go with Future Trunks, I think. All right, back at the top. Kid Gohan or Cell? We'll take Cell. Taking Vegeta. Taking Whis. Ooh, where'd you go with Beerus? He was a cool introduction. 16. Tien. First form Frieza. So this is tough because is this supposed to be Gohan just from Super? I'm gonna say this is Gohan from like the Buu Saga on maybe or something like, because we didn't get a Teen Gohan even in this. I'm gonna say beyond Kid Gohan is this character representation over here, so we're picking him. Once again, Trunks got kind of screwed with that matchup. Vegeta for sure. Beerus, kind of cool matchup there. Ooh, I like both these. They're kind of more subtle characters that I enjoy both of them. We're gonna go with Tien. Like Kid Gohan. Vegeta for sure. Non-Kid Gohan. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's my favorite character, so he goes all the way. It's weird with like which version of him we're showing in this, but he winds up saying non-kid version of Gohan definitely takes it all the way. All right, what else we got on here? Where's some of these other ones? Best movies of all time. So I feel like I'm going to laugh at whatever's included on here because I didn't pick the population of movies they chose. And what is this called? Best movies of all time, 128 movies. Let's buckle up because this first like 2 movies on here, if you're calling these the best, we're in trouble. As you can see, Elf and Aladdin, clearly 2 of the best 128 movies of all time. I can't see the entire list on this, so we could get totally like off the wall. Maybe major hot take. I don't really like Elf. I don't like Will Ferrell a whole lot. I think it's kind of an overrated Christmas movie. I don't know why people like it so much. Aladdin. What is it? Jumanji's the top movie of all time. Okay, so this is like a parody list, apparently, at this point. I don't really like The Mask either. Is that a pop? Like, what's everyone's thoughts on The Mask? Like, Jim Carrey kind of acts like how I view Will Ferrell in this movie, where it's just like, you're too crazy. I can't handle an entire movie of you. I mean, Jumanji's just like a bad movie, I feel like, but The Mask is a movie that's not for me. If I had to watch one right now, I would probably watch Jumanji more. But it's not a matchup I would have ever picked. Ice Age or Step Brothers. All right, I realize this is probably going to backtrack everything I just said, but I do like Step Brothers a decent amount. The jokes mostly hit for me. John C. Reilly I like a little bit better than Will Ferrell as an actor. We'll go with that one. Okay, Marriage Story or Star Wars The Last Jedi. I mean, Marriage Story is kind of depressing. Some people may say the same for Star Wars The Last Jedi. So, I think I'm going to pick Marriage Story here. Yeah. The Dark Knight versus The Phantom Menace. So more Star Wars here. I haven't seen The Phantom Menace in such a long time. Honestly, if you ask me to watch one of these right now, I may pick that one because I've seen The Dark Knight, I feel like, so many times, but it's a better movie than The Phantom Menace. We're going to pick The Dark Knight, but I do think in some ways I'd rather watch The Phantom Menace right now. Okay, The Notebook versus Interstellar. We're going to go with Interstellar here. All right, we're kind of getting more like, these are reasonable answers for like people's favorite movies, and now that we like bypass some of the BS already. Wolf of Wall Street or Episode 3? I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so anytime you have any of those on there, it's not going to overly sell me. I remember thinking too when I saw Episode 3, it's like, okay, I've seen 2 and 4, so when we have this big fight scene at the end, I know nobody's going to die, so we'll take the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not super high on it, but we'll go with that. Ooh, this is actually a tough one. Toy Story 2 or War for the Planet of the Apes? So War is what, the third one in the Apes trilogy? Toy Story 2 is actually like solid. I'm thinking War for the Planet of the Apes, though. I think it's kind of an underrated trilogy, if I'm being honest. Like, Caesar is such a cool character. What is with the entire list of Star Wars movies? Are these people's favorite movies? I guess it probably makes sense. Honestly, Episode 2 is probably my least favorite of the prequels. Maybe. I like Episode 1 the most out of the first 3. I'll say that. We'll go with Return of the Jedi. It's more iconic and classic. Weird combination here. I don't know how Liar Liar is on the top 128 movies of all time. So I'm quite okay. I'm seeing more on this list. There's I don't know who made this, but I don't like Forrest Gump as much as like everybody does. I feel like it's not a movie that's for me as much as a lot of people praise. This is probably extremely dumb to do, but we're gonna go with Liar Liar. Jim Carrey he's funny in it. We have talking about a Saw reference. We have a little bit of Carrie Elwes here as well. Say Liar Liar. And this is why I was laughing. We have Ted versus the Witches. I've never heard of the Witches. I don't really like Ted, but I've at least seen it, so pick that, I guess. OG Toy Story versus Captain America: The First Avenger. Toy Story. Ooh. Actually, Far From Home. What? Like, how is... That's like the worst one of the Tom Holland trilogy. Pirates was like sick when it came out. All right, Wizard of Oz or A New Hope. I'm not big in the Oz stuff. We'll pick A New Hope. Chamber of Secrets. So that's the second one, right? Versus No Way Home. I mean, I'm not a big Harry Potter or Marvel person per se, but I probably lean more towards Marvel. We'll say No Way Home. It was cool to get some of those old characters back. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and The Force Awakens. So I've actually never seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I probably should. It's got tons of famous people in it, and Tarantino films I mostly like. There's some that I feel like I would say are a little worse than people praise them for. The Force Awakens. I mean, by my rule I had before, I've seen it, so that one is going to continue. The Lion King vs. Shutter Island. I was disappointed by Shutter Island. I really wanted to like it, but I don't feel like it did much. So, Lion King. Okay, what is this? Ratatouille versus Ice Age 2. I'm not big into Ratatouille, but Ice Age 2. We'll take Ratatouille. Back to the Future over Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 was nice, and I kind of feel like it should have ended there, but Back to the Future. Monsters, Inc. or Part 3 Back to the Future. We'll go with Monsters, Inc. for this one. Part 3 is probably my least favorite. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man for sure. Wreck-It Ralph, definitely. Is there not like a title beyond just saying Star Wars? We'll just go with that. Schindler's List or Cars? Talk about a dramatic difference between the two. Schindler's List and Cars. So I don't think I've ever actually seen all of Schindler's List, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like it always sounded like a movie you had to go into with a willingness to be like sad based off the subject matter. I'm not big into Cars though either as like a Pixar movie. We're going to say Schindler's List, but realizing that I don't know if I feel too strongly either way. Gladiator, Madagascar, definitely Gladiator. This is a really weird, like combining animated films with. I don't think I've seen The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I've heard of it, but we're gonna go with Wall-E on this one. Shawshank Redemption versus the iconic The SpongeBob SquarePants movie, clearly top movie of all time. Easy Shawshank. Free Guy versus Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is kind of like the same as like Jurassic Park 3, where like when it came out, everybody hated it. And then now it's kind of cool to like it at this point. Free Guy was fun, but I don't feel like it has like much stay power to it. We're going to say Spider-Man 3. What, Lassie versus the Avengers? The Avengers. It was like, for the time when it was the first one, very cool. Deathly Hallows Part 1. Jurassic Park for sure. Somehow people love Jumanji in this poll they've made. Homecoming is better than either of those Jumanji movies. Pixels or Bruce Almighty? Bruce Almighty. Okay, so we have to finish this side before going to the other one. Easy Aladdin there. Probably go a little faster here. Step Brothers. I enjoyed it a little bit more probably. These are both Nolan films, right? I think so, right? I'm pretty sure. The Dark Knight versus Interstellar. I feel like JDev, these are probably both high on your list. Interstellar, when I first watched it, I didn't really love the whole like ending that they went for. I think upon rewatching it, I've liked it a little bit more. We're gonna say The Dark Knight. Wolf of Wall Street or War for the Planet of the Apes? We'll take War for the Planet of the Apes. I mean, because I'm not big into Star Wars, honestly. I mean, Return of the Jedi is a better movie than Liar Liar. I mean, Liar Liar is like a classic, though. It's got a lot of great lines in it. I could see either choice. Return of the Jedi is the better movie, but if we're doing favorites for this one, I'm gonna say Liar Liar I like a little more. Easy Toy Story. Easy Pirates. Star Wars is getting like disowned by me in this entire poll. Yeah, No Way Home. Lion King. Back to the Future. Spider-Man or Wreck-It Ralph? Spider-Man. I like Wreck-It Ralph though. Here we'll give Star Wars a little bit of love. Gladiator versus WALL-E. Two movies that I don't feel like I normally watch the entirety of. I feel like I see some of Gladiator when it's on, then I just move on. It was actually on like the other day. It's a cool movie. WALL-E is awesome too, though. Also, probably the future of us will be WALL-E at this point. I mean, Russell Crowe, he like Gladiator is like what he's most known for at this point. Oh, this is a tough one. Completely different movies. WALL-E's the outcome when Gladiator takes over the world. As far as movies I like, we're gonna give WALL-E the edge. Maybe not a better movie per se. Shawshank versus Spider-Man 3. I kind of hope Spider-Man 3 could make a sneaky run through this, but Shawshank is a better movie. Avengers versus Jurassic Park. These, I mean, big name franchises. The original Jurassic Park. Homecoming, Bruce Almighty. I didn't really like Bruce Almighty, if I'm being honest. Homecoming was just alright, but it had like the new era of things coming in. We'll take Homecoming. What a weird fight here. We have Aladdin versus Step Brothers. Aladdin. Ooh, this one's hard. I think the problem is I've seen The Dark Knight so many times. I've kind of like grown a little bit stale to it. Also, superheroes in general, I've kind of grown stale to. I think it's War for the Planet of the Apes. I honestly, if you asked me like top 10 movies, I would have debated if The Dark Knight is there. And I probably would have never debated War for the Planet of the Apes being there. But if I'm comparing them versus each other, it's a little bit easier to like dissect. I don't know. I mean, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight is super good. But I haven't seen War for the Planet of the Apes as many times, but that may also reflect on how like good The Dark Knight is. We're gonna go with the sleeper. War for the Planet of the Apes. Toy Story takes this one. Pirates. Back to the Future. We're getting these iconic ones up here. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man for sure. I'm sorry, WALL-E. Shawshank is gonna take you out here. Jurassic Park. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Just doing some like bracket challenges with different things. This one we're doing. Apparently this was supposed to be top 128 movies, but the movies they chose on this list make me question that. But we're just going with like movies that they pre-populated, and I'm kind of like going through versing each other and seeing which one makes it to the end. You did just miss me doing that with Dragon Ball characters. Maybe I'll find another one to run through because it kind of had a weird selection of characters on it. But I hope you're having a great Friday. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out for a bit. Aladdin, War for the Planet of the Apes. This is kind of a sleeper for me. We'll go with War for Planet of the Apes here. weird matchup here. Toy Story and Pirates. It's hard to compare those. I mean, when Pirates came out, it was like the thing. It was kind of like The Dark Knight when that came out. It was like super blowing up. Toy Story is like iconic for being the start of Pixar. But we're probably gonna go with Pirates here. Yeah. I also realized I think you're getting close to 1,000 subs, right? Awesome to see that. Hopefully we'll reach that pretty soon here. I think you're in the mid-ish 900s at this point. Back to the Future or Spider-Man? Ooh. This is tough. I mean, Back to the Future I think is the better movie. Which one is more of my favorite? Because that's kind of what we're doing here with this one. I mean, it's not Spider-Man 2. We may have Spider-Man 2 on the other side of the bracket. We'll say Back to the Future. Shawshank versus Jurassic Park. Talk about completely different movie styles. For a long time, Shawshank was probably my favorite movie. I don't know if Jurassic Park ever was, but it's a fun time. I loved dinosaurs growing up, so... Hopefully, but I'm trying to stress it if that's possible. That's fair. That's fair. I'm kind of the same way. But it's awesome to see you getting there pretty close, so. I did mention, too, earlier in the stream, we talked about it, I think, on one of your chats, but I did wind up grabbing the Bakugo here. Hopefully the camera picks up, yeah. The Bakugo figure showed up the other day, and seems like it's probably pretty solid. I am, weirdly... a perfectionist with a lot of these, and I did notice one of the faces, the red from, I don't know if it's from the gums or whatever, is on the side of his mouth, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be kind of a pain. Hopefully I can get that off, but seems cool. I may wind up doing a review on him. I know I watched your review obviously, so, but seems like probably a cool figure. I'm just a little bummed. I feel like every time I get a figure in, I'm hyper scrutinizing it, which based off how quality control is with those kind of things, I feel like that's probably not a good thing because there's always going to be something that's wrong on your specific figure. But yeah, I'll probably wind up opening up and doing some kind of review on them at some point. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously there's the major QC problems that everyone runs into the trunks with the loose legs and stuff like that. But then one-off ones, depending on what you get, I feel like paint misapplications I get pretty frequently that are just oh, the one you happen to have that problem, that it's not a widespread issue, but it was just, this is what yours looks like. So I know some people have done some stuff to use an eraser or something to get it off, but I've never tried that, and we'll see with this one. It's kind of being on his face. I feel like it's kind of worse because if it's on his body somewhere, you at least won't see it a whole lot, but it's oh, it's on his face. Granted, half of his face, I guess, is probably covered by that cowl around his neck. But I've tried to pay attention a little bit to the Comic-Con stuff. There haven't been too many announcements, has there, when it comes to collectibles? I've been trying to watch what Tamashi's posted on Instagram, and I know we got the Dracula Mihawk stuff, but I think we had that already. Obviously, the convention pieces are available there, and probably will be shortly after the convention online somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to grab anything. Are you, I don't know if we've talked about it. Are you planning to grab any of the convention exclusives? I wanted the Grade 8 Vegeta, but the more I've sat on it, I've kind of been still $220 after shipping and taxes. That's probably $250. He's not really in scale with anything else, so he probably would just go behind me in one of these squares or something. He looks super cool. I feel like I like the color variant more than the original coloring because it fits that Saiyan Saga Vegeta color more so, but I don't know. I'm probably going to wind up passing, but if I picked one up, that would be the one I went for. Yeah, individual paints a crapshoot sometimes. Bandai switches their joint engineering too much for me. That's true. Yeah, they kind of bounce around a lot with their what they're working on. I feel like, I mean, we've done a lot of 3.0s, but we're still in the 2.0s as well. So it's doing a little bit of both. But to answer this question, I think Shawshank's the answer. They're both iconic, but Shawshank for sure. Ooh. This one's tough. The original Pirates or War for the Planet of the Apes? I think in some ways Pirates was like from that era a little bit. I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm curious to see how well it still holds up these days. I mean, Depp and Bloom are great in it, I imagine, but we're gonna say War. But I do like Pirates a lot. As for event exclusive stuff, I try not to get too worked up because they're too expensive. I really like the paint choices. Yeah, that's how I felt last year. I think I've only gotten the event exclusives one year, like 2 years ago, whenever that was, when we got the Ghost Goku and Gohan and the Raditz with the Kid Gohan and the Majin Vegeta with the aura effect. That's the only year I ever got the convention pieces. I got a couple from Big Bad when they posted that Nappa and Whis at one point, like a year or two ago, but I didn't pick up any of the convention stuff last year. Like I was torn on the Trunks and the Jiren. I thought Jiren could be a good matchup because I do have a UI Goku, so I was like, oh, they could pair together well, but I didn't wind up grabbing anything last year. I'm probably not going to this year. That, as I said, that Great Ape Vegeta is the only one I'm mixed on. Shawshank is probably better than Back to the Future. Shawshank is kind of sad, so you're not always in the mood for it, but as far as like favorite movies, it's probably higher than War for the Planet of the Apes for me. All right, now we're on the other side where it just could be total chaos since we haven't seen these ones yet. We'll take Ragnarok over Tangled. But yeah, I haven't even seen too many like announcements coming out of Comic-Con from Bandai. I feel like normally we get a lot of like figures to be shown off there, but I don't think I've seen really any that were like announced at this point, which I feel like we would have known by now. I don't even know what Instant Family is, so Back to the Future Part 2. I feel like this is going to make people think I'm absurd because I do really like Shallow Hal. I have no idea what's on this list. I'm not big into like the Godfather Mafia stuff. Although when I was a kid, I made like movies and we had like a Godfather parody. So I like the Godfather like world, but as far as the movies, I feel like they're a little not my style. Those are good examples for sure. I got lucky and found the Ghost Goku Gohan earlier this year, local store out of the blue for a great price. That's awesome. The hard part is most often when you wait after the fact, you just get like inflated prices, but if you're able to find it a good deal, it's definitely worth it. I thought that was a pretty good release. I mean, it is the 2.0 mold for like the Goku, whatever, but I don't think we're ever going to get that kind of Goku ever again in that like blue aesthetic to him. Shallow Hal's legendary. I'm doing favorites. I'm not doing best. I feel like sometimes there's like, all right, these are my favorite movies. And these are my thoughts on what the best movies are. Sometimes there's overlap. Sometimes there's not. Shallow Hal I like more than The Godfather. It's not a better movie, but I like it more. So we're going to pick that. Okay. Well, my rule earlier was if I've seen it versus haven't seen it, I would pick that. I've never seen Solo. Actually, I don't think I've seen the original Daddy's Home. I've seen the sequel, surprisingly. I got like a early screener to go see that years ago. The one that has like John Lithgow as one of the dads in it. These both suck. I assume that's probably the case. I assume Solo's better than Daddy's Home, but since I've at least seen Daddy's Home 2, we're going to pick that, I guess. Probably an easy out on the next round. The Empire Strikes Back versus Joker. All right, so kind of a weird situation here. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so I probably underrate The Empire Strikes Back. But I also didn't really care for Joker. I know a lot of people liked it. I wasn't super enthusiastic about it. I know it's kind of supposed to be a little bit depressing, but I think I'm going to pick Empire Strikes Back here. I heard Joker 2 was awful, but it was kind of a completely different movie style. Yeah, we're gonna go with Star Wars. Okay, what is this? What are these choices? These are the top movies, obviously. Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, and Harry Potter, the Half-Blood Prince. I mean, I guess we'll pick Harry Potter. I don't like Madagascar 3. What? Ooh, Saving Private Ryan. I feel like I haven't enjoyed war movies as much as I used to. I know it's weird to say like enjoying war movies, but Saving Private Ryan is kind of a classic. I'm gonna go with that one. Okay. Indiana Jones is a franchise I haven't watched in a long time, so I feel like I've lost a little bit of touch with it. I know similar to Star Wars, kind of iconic. Obviously, you got Harrison Ford in both of those. Jurassic World. I mean, literally this poster just makes me feel like I can't pick it because you have the Raptors around Chris Pratt on the bike. So we have the Lost Crusade. I don't even know if I remember which Indiana Jones that one is. I think it's... The Temple of Doom is the first one, right? I'm kind of just going off of not actual knowing that, but I feel like that's the most memorable of the movie titles. So I assume this is one of the... I mean, the Last Crusade makes it... is that even what it's called? What is it? Yeah. That looks very weirdly shown there. I'm assuming it's a later one. Third one, that's kind of what I thought. I mean, you call something the last. Because it's been so long, I don't want to pick it. I debated doing a Jurassic Park like rankings. This one is probably like fourth for me. But because I at least am familiar with it, we're going to go with it. It should have been the last. Yeah, they made I haven't watched any of the later ones. I watched the original ones like growing up, but it's been a long time. And I never watched like the Shia LaBeouf one and then the one they made a couple of years ago. I heard not great things about both. Easily The Departed here. Okay, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, so you're hammering me with these. We're gonna go with Inception. Although this is, yeah, we're gonna go with Inception. Definitely heavily on the Christopher Nolan train here. Finding Nemo for sure. Okay, you're giving me a couple Indiana Jones movies, so I guess we have to pick one. I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark is kind of the more iconic one, right? I don't know. If you have an opinion here, I'll go with anyone in chat's viewpoint, but I assume they're kind of a similar quality. Harrison Ford looks a little bit more jovial in this one, so I kind of just lean towards that one for that reason. Raiders? All right, we'll roll with it. It may not last very long, obviously, but... Okay, Mrs. Doubtfire, Madagascar. What is up with Madagascar trilogy being on this list? I'm not a big fan of Mrs. Doubtfire, but that's going to win there. Home Alone or Django Unchained? Is it like a hot take to say Django Unchained isn't like a movie that overly works for me? I think I've only seen it once, but I remember watching it and I was like, okay. It was fine. I mean, Home Alone is a Christmas classic. Very weird matchup here. But this is kind of an example of like the Quentin Tarantino stuff that I'm like, it's not entirely for me. We're going to say Home Alone. That maybe not what most people would do there. Peter Pan or Jaws? Okay, Jaws. Rogue One or World War Z? I've never seen Rogue One. I think World War Z was a bit of a disappointment for me. But I've seen it, so we're going to pick it. The Green Mile or The Grinch Stole Christmas? Talk about two completely, tonally different movies. It's been a long time since I've seen The Green Mile. R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan. But I think that's where we're going to pick. The Green Mile, yeah. Megamind or Scrooge? I think Megamind was kind of an underrated, like, it's one of those movies that I thought I would have like totally hated as far as like a new animated film. But I've only seen it like once or twice, but I kind of enjoyed it. Scrooge, I mean, we've all heard the story. I'm gonna go with Megamind. It's kind of a weird choice there. Okay. Whoever loses this one got screwed because these are two heavy hitters. This is wild. I just had Megamind or Scrooge, and then you hit me with Shrek or Infinity War. Like, the movie that started an entire franchise, or the movie that it didn't culminate because you had Endgame, but I kind of think Endgame or Infinity War, I like a little bit more than Endgame. They're both kind of like one final story, too. Yeah, I would have thought Infinity War too, because honestly, if you ask me, like, what's my favorite superhero movie? Infinity War is in the top 5. But I mean, Shrek is like so classic. I mean, JDev, you have Trinity in Shrek. You have a little Trinity over here in his cape here and get up. There's no, yeah, I mean, these are completely different movie styles too. You have like the iconic blockbuster superhero film, and then you got like the fun, like adventure-based animated Pixar film. I'm thinking I'm gonna pick Shrek, if I'm being honest. I think it's like pretty witty as well. Where'd it go, Shrek? In an era of when they had like recycling old ideas, like what we had Shrek and like The Emperor's New Groove, those like kind of movies came out around that like late 90s, early 2000s era, like in 2000, I think. And they did a unique idea, which now has been milked excessively, but canceled. I know. I know. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or Deadpool? So Dawn is the first one. I feel like the titling always gets me a little confused. We have Dawn, Rise, and War. I think Dawn's the first one. I mean, based off the pictures here too, that's the ending scene. Deadpool was fun, but I don't know. I feel like we've done, like, we kind of got superheroed out, and then we moved on to like the R-rated like comedy superheroes, and then we got kind of like sick of that at this point. Dawn's the second one. Okay, that makes sense. Rise, then you're at your Dawn. Okay. I probably like them. The first one, Rise, is probably my least favorite. Dawn I really liked. I'm trying to debate which one I like more, 2 or 3. But if this one, yeah, Rise, Dawn, War, that makes sense. Dawn I think I like more than Deadpool. Guardians or The Truman Show? Guardians got kind of milked excessively as well. I'm not like big in The Truman Show though, so we're gonna take Guardians here. I think I did too. I think I liked War the most, which I think I saw War at a screening. I don't know if I had seen like the first couple in like completion, but I wound up rewatching them all. Okay, now we have Rise. All right, that would have given away. You have Frank. This is ironic. We have James Franco versus his archenemy Spider-Man. Although this is the Amazing Spider-Man with what's his name as and we had Emma Stone in this one as well. Yeah, Truman Show's not. I don't have like the nostalgia for that one. So that one I was an easy avoid. The Amazing Spider-Man, I wanted to like it a little bit more than I did. I feel like what's his name? I'm blanking. We had Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield. Yeah, I feel like Garfield Spider-Man kind of got treated similar to Spider-Man 3 and like Jurassic Park 3 I mentioned earlier, where it's like when it came out, people kind of dogged on it, especially the sequel. Like I feel like people didn't like Garfield's Spider-Man. And then when we had him coming back in No Way Home, I think everyone loved him because it's like bringing him back. Pop quiz, is Emma Stone hot? I would say yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of like recent. What has she been in recently? I'm trying to think what like the most recent Emma Stone. Like I'm thinking of like Cruella that she was in that I never saw, but it's been a while I think since I've seen her in a movie. But to answer your question, I would say yes. Jade, I don't know if you want to chime in with your input there, but I would say yeah. Check out Poor Things. Is that like a new Emma Stone movie? Is that the one? That's not the one where she's like on the beach, is it? I'm trying to think of which movie that is, but I think she's solid. But I mean, as an actress, and obviously you're asking appearance there, but I enjoyed the stuff that she was in. I mean, it could be a good reason to watch it then. I think I first saw her in Superbad. I don't know what her first movie was, but I remember seeing that in theaters, and that was kind of the first time that I remember seeing her in a movie. Which I feel like that's kind of a cult classic as well. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I haven't watched Superbad in a long time, but it was like a big movie when it came out. I don't know if the jokes really hold up in the modern era. I'd have to see, but the answer is Rise for this one, though. Yeah, Zombieland. I mean, as all people gotten a little older, I imagine. So that makes sense. Zombieland was like, well, how long ago was it? That's been probably longer than I thought, actually. You're torn. I mean, I would say the answer is yes, but it's probably up to people's personal taste. Honestly, well, Azkaban's the third one. I don't think that one's as strong. We're going with Endgame here. Honestly, I think there is one. When I was searching for brackets, I think one of the things was like hot actresses or something like that. So if you want, maybe we can do that. We'll see. Beauty and the Beast or Despicable Me. I don't have the nostalgia for Beauty and the Beast, so Despicable Me. Civil War or Inside Out? Civil War was a pretty good Marvel film. I think because there's so many Marvel movies around it, though, I'm inclined to pick Inside Out. Although they didn't come out with Inside Out 2 yet, did they? I know they were supposed to. I'm going to say Inside Out. JDev, you probably will not love that, but I like the original. I mean, it was kind of a unique idea for the time. All right, Spider-Man 2, easy choice there. It's funny how, what's his name from We're the Millers? Why am I blanking on his name too? Will Poulter has like dramatically changed since that movie came out. But he's in a lot more like serious stuff nowadays too. I don't really love Matilda a whole lot, so Ace Ventura kind of by default. Age of Ultron or The Winter Soldier? All right, so I've established top 128 movies means all the animated movies, all the Marvel movies, Harry Potter's, Star Wars is like, there's not much variety. I don't really remember The Winter Soldier, but Age of Ultron was kind of generic, if I remember. So I think by default, we're going to say The Winter Soldier. Yeah. Divergent or The Little Mermaid? I mean, neither of these are for me. I don't know. These both are not my style. We'll say Divergent, I guess. Pass. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I was like, I don't really care for either. So here's where I mentioned, I know The Incredibles are like highly reviewed, but I haven't watched them enough to like have that opinion. Goblet of Fire is probably the best Harry Potter film. So for that, we'll give that, we'll pick it this time. Ooh, so this is tough. I know it shouldn't be tough, but despite it being iconic, this is another Tarantino example. I feel like a lot of his stuff just doesn't really work for me. People love Pulp Fiction. I feel like some people, if you ask them, their favorite movie may be Pulp Fiction. But I don't have the love for Pulp Fiction that a lot of people do. But dang, look at that cast list though too. You have Christopher Walken like down here. But Deadpool 2 was kind of forgettable. I mean, you had, is that Josh Brolin? That's the bad guy, Cable or whatever. They kind of recycled the same things. I feel like Deadpool 1 was better than 2. So while I don't have a lot of love for Pulp Fiction, we'll probably not disrespect it too much and pick it here. Okay, we have the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, depending on your dialect you go with there, which verbiage you prefer. Dumb and Dumber is a super iconic comedy. It's like not a good movie, but it's falls in the category of like it more than I would say it's solid. So we're gonna go with that. All right, we're back at the top now. Back to the Future 2 or Ragnarok. Ragnarok is people's like top 5 hero movies, I feel like. But Back to the Future 2, I think, is kind of underrated as a sequel. So we're going to pick it. All right, Shallow Hal, easy choice there. If you told me that was going to last like multiple rounds, I would have been surprised. Take Empire Strikes Back here. All right, Saving Private Ryan. Okay, Jurassic World had a very short run there. Ooh, we got a couple Leo movies here. Yeah, Empire for sure. I think, well, the answer for me is probably The Departed. I mentioned I don't love the whole like gangster movie type thing, but The Departed is top tier. I haven't watched it in a while. I probably need to give it another watch. They did a few characters dirty in it, though. I'll say that. Maybe Blasphemous, but I'm going with Finding Nemo. Since I didn't really show it love on the earlier one we had. Yeah, The Departed is great. We will see how far it goes in this run here. Home Alone for sure. I mean, Jaws, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Apparently everything the Green Mile goes up against is like tonally way different of a movie. I feel like I'm going to get canceled if I pick Megamind here. But the Green Mile is... I don't know, I was going to say it's tough to watch, but also I think on the other side of the bracket, I have Shawshank at the finals, so I can't really... That seems kind of hypocritical there. Megamind, it's happening. Ooh, Shrek or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? I think we said Dawn was the second one. This was going to be easier if it was the first one. Dang. I mean, Shrek is just so good though. It's hard to say like I don't really care for like the other sequels in the franchise. Like if this was Shrek 2 against Dawn, easy choice for Dawn. We're going to say Shrek. Huh. Rise or Guardians? As a first entry to the franchise, I think Guardians is better. But as a franchise as a whole, I like Apes better. So, I mean, I just mentioned it was one of my favorite trilogies, but I think we're dogging Apes a couple rounds in a row. I think we're picking Guardians here. Endgame or Despicable Me? I mean, kind of weird choices here. We'll go with Endgame, I guess. I don't know. Spider-Man 2 for sure. We're going to go with Ace Ventura. We'll advance the comedy. Goblet. Those are very similar aesthetically. All right, I'm going to just bypass this and realize I may get canceled. Dumb and Dumber passes Pulp Fiction. Back to the Future 2 or Shallow Hal. It's kind of hilarious that Shallow Hal is on this list because I don't imagine it's like a very highly thought of movie. So it's super weird that it's on here, but I enjoy it. It's back when I kind of preferred Jack Black more than his modern era, but yeah, we're gonna go Shallow Hal. Saving Private Ryan. That's gonna be a weird matchup next time. The Departed or Finding Nemo? Nemo's got probably better one-liners, but The Departed, I can't deny. Home Alone for sure. Shrek for sure. Ooh, Marvel versus Marvel crime going on here. Guardians or Endgame? Man. If I'm being honest, I don't really understand, like, Jadev, I know you really like Endgame, I believe. And so what about Endgame do you like so much? Because I feel like, I mean, it's the culmination. I get that part of it. You get the ending to a lot of character stories, even though we opened them back up in other movies that came after. But I feel like a lot of the story progression actually happened in Infinity War, whereas Endgame, you did the back in time thing, I guess. A biblical level matchup. I mean, it kind of feels like at least when Guardians came out, I liked it a lot. Like the first time watching both these movies, I think Guardians was better for me. I mean, you had like kind of the big fight scene at the end, but even that was just okay, I thought. You know what? We'll go with the is it an underdog? I think we're picking the underdogs. Going with the Guardians here. Spider-Man 2 or Ace Ventura? Spider-Man 2. Dumb and Dumber. Okay, here's where maybe Shallow Hal meets its demise. Honestly, if I'm going to watch one, it may be Shallow Hal because, once again, much more lighthearted. But as far as if I'm ranking favorite movies, probably put Saving Private Ryan higher. The Departed versus Home Alone. Okay. I mean, Home Alone would go very far on like childhood, like Christmas movie type of thing. I mean, literally the cover of The Departed tells you all you need to know with like iconic actors. You don't even have Wahlberg. Well, I mean, Wahlberg's not in the movie a whole lot. Obviously, for people to know the ending, there's a little more of him involved, but these three are definitely who carry the movie. I really liked Leo's character. I think he's the one I like the most, which the whole elevator scene was such a big shock. I know that's probably what they were going for, but I was kind of disappointed when that scene happened. And then you think Damon's going to get away with things and then takes another turn, but we'll go with The Departed. Shrek or Guardians? So a couple movies that entered an existing genre but did something new and creative in it. We'll go with Shrek. It's funny, I wouldn't say Shrek's like one of my favorite movies, but it's hard to deny how like good that first movie was. This is interesting. Spider-Man 2 or Dumb and Dumber? I feel like Spider-Man 2 is a popular answer for the best Spider-Man movie. Dumb and Dumber is like, that is a movie that has great one-liners too, though. Like, it's hard to, so many lines come from that movie, I feel like. Man. Doc Ock is a great character, but I don't know, the Peter Parker, like Mary Jane stuff in Spider-Man 2, I don't think is as exciting. I'm gonna pick Dumb and Dumber. Ooh. Because I've kind of like leaned maybe more away towards war stuff recently, we'll say The Departed. It's an easier watch. Shrek or Dumb and Dumber? call. That's tough. Let's say Shrek. This has been a long... I guess I did say 128 movies. Here we'll go with The Departed. So we're at the finals now. Shawshank versus The Departed. Based off of, you know, what was provided on this list. Both pretty deep drama type movies. I know this may not... Well, actually, it's probably more popular amongst like older crowds, but I think I'm going to pick Shawshank. The message of that one, I feel like, is... Yes, Sophie's choice level decision. I think we're going to go with Shawshank. I think I like it a little bit more than The Departed. And as I mentioned earlier, at one point in time, it was my favorite movie, so... Super sad at some points, but at least you get a payoff ending. All right, what else did we have on here? We had favorite video game characters. Let me do that one real quick. Let's see what we get there. All right, I have not looked at this list, so we could have the same situation back to back where it's like, how is that an option? Does that show up? All right, cool. Okay, characters, right? That's the... Oh wait, no, this is favorite video games, not characters. I thought I searched characters. Okay, a little bit different than I expected then. So we'll have to put it in the mindset of game instead. Assassin's Creed, I'm assuming this is the OG, back when it wasn't like watered down the same thing every year. I don't know which Crash Bandicoot this is. I'm assuming it's not the first, since it has like a subsequent title. Since it was the first one, we'll say Assassin's Creed. Final Fantasy VII Remake or Vice City? I don't think I played all of like Vice City. I played all of Remake and I was a little bit disappointed. I feel like the hype didn't like fully live up to my expectations. There's also the hard part now that we're doing the game, not characters. If you're telling me like playing it right now, I'm assuming Final Fantasy VII plays better than Vice City, but like back then, it was solid. So you have to have kind of a mix of things, because like anything on the N64 with like the 3D gameplay is very tough to play nowadays. So we'll say in some ways it's like current, but I mean, because I didn't love Final Fantasy VII, I think we're going to go with Vice City here. Headed out to Fantastic Four. Have a good night. Yeah, appreciate you hopping in, man. Hope you have a good time. I've heard pretty good things about Fantastic Four, so hope you enjoy it. And awesome for you hopping in here. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out for a bit. And have a great weekend, too. All right, so we'll take Vice City. Mario Kart Deluxe, so 8 versus Mortal Kombat 2. Obviously, nostalgia says Mortal Kombat, but the development of Mario Kart 8, I mean, it was on multiple consoles. We'll take that. Observation versus Tekken 3. I'm not like huge into fighting games, so Tekken's probably not going to do a whole lot for me. I did play Observation. Kind of a cool sci-fi themed game. We'll pick it. Okay, Def Jam Fight for New York. I'm familiar with it, but never played it. By default, we're kind of taking Miles Morales over here. Ooh, Stardew Valley and The Last of Us. I really want to play Stardew Valley. It may be something that works for me, but I've never played it, so... I also technically never played The Last of Us. I played The Last of Us Remastered, but I'm going to say it's a similar enough experience. We're going to pick that. BioShock Infinite or Life is Strange. Easy BioShock Infinite for me there. Ooh, the original Myst was hard on PC. Uncharted 4 is a top tier game, though, so we're going to pick that. Ocarina of Time or a wrestling game for N64. Ocarina. GoldenEye or Bully. I never really got into Bully. GoldenEye doesn't really hold up today, but we're going to go with that. Final Fight or LA Noire. LA Noire was kind of an interesting concept, but we're going to pick that one. NHL Hits 2002, or like, how is this? Who picked these games? Do you just have like a random year? Maybe that was a popular year for NHL. Stick of Truth I had fun with. We'll pick that. Mario 64 Tetris. Mario 64 we'll go with. These are weird. I mean, I've played all of these surprisingly, but odd choices for like favorite games. Pro Skater 2 or I mean, this is not one game. Dark Pictures Anthology, that's 4 games. Got to be 5 games by next year. Although I did delay it. I put a post about that the other day, but I mean, we'll pick the Dark Pictures Anthology, but it feels a little unfair that you're picking multiple games. Wolfenstein 3D or Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Are you picking multiple games again? We're going to pick Crash. Battlefront 2 or Tekken Tag. We'll go with Battlefront 2. We'll pick Vice City. I was a little torn. I almost went with Assassin's Creed. Mario Kart 8 for sure. The Last of Us. Ooh, this one's hard. 2 awesome games. You also have Troy Baker in both of these. With like Booker DeWitt in this one and Sam, right? His brother. Uncharted 4, I think we picked though. Ooh, a couple N64 games. What is up with this cover though? Was this really the cover of Ocarina of Time? We're gonna pick that. LA Noire Stick of Truth. I could see justification for both of these. We're going to go with Stick of Truth, kind of an underdog there, maybe. Mario 64. I do like the Dark Pictures, but it's hard to deny 64. We'll say Crash here, honestly. I'm feeling like a Mario fanboy at this point because I'm like, leaning towards picking that. Because, I mean, it's more of a modern choice. Okay, a couple Naughty Dog games now. Uncharted 4. Ocarina of Time. Mario 64. Uncharted takes there. And Ocarina of Time. Interesting. So Zelda was amazing back in the day, but I can't imagine it holds up too well today. So very nostalgic for it, but actually like more playable for me today. What's on the other side here? Burnout 3 or Horizon? Hot take, I wasn't a big fan of Horizon. It didn't like... I was a little bit let down by it. I feel like I love dinosaurs. I love like sci-fi stuff, but story didn't do much for me. Side quest didn't do much for me. It was fun. Like the gameplay was fun. Burnout 3 Takedown. I mean, it was fun crashing cars, let's be honest. So that... I think we're going to pick Burnout 3. Monster Hunter or Rise of the Tomb Raider. 2 that I don't really care for either. We'll pick Monster Hunter though. Is it Monster Hunter World? I think it is. Although I don't know if I can tell. That says. We'll say Monster Hunter either way. No Man's Sky or Knights of the Old Republic 2. I love this game. We're going to go with that. Hit and Run or Don't Starve Together. So I played a little of Hit and Run back in the day. Like, what was it on Dreamcast? Don't Starve Together has interested me, but I've never played it. We'll say Hit and Run. Shadow of Mordor or Sleeping Dogs. Love the Nemesis system and Shadow of Mordor. Turtles in Time or Infamous Second Son. We'll take Ninja Turtles. X-Men or Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll take Red Dead. Skyrim or Far Cry 5. Definitely Skyrim. Spider-Man or Mario Party 2. You know what? I really like Spider-Man. Mario Party 2 is the best Mario Party. 100%, no doubt about it. Uncharted 3 or SmackDown. I'm not a big wrestling game fan. Ooh, I talked about Myst earlier. Myst or Mario Kart 64. So we had Myst and Myst 3, so I guess I haven't gotten Myst 2. Taking 64. Feels weird to have 2 Mario Kart games, though. Ultimate for sure. I don't think I played Galaxy 2, but I'm not a big Minecraft person, so we'll take that. Grand Theft Auto 5 or The Punisher. That's a really weird combo. Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, we're taking Burnout. Knights of the Old Republic. Shadow of Mordor, I think. This is a tough one. Skyrim or Red Dead. We're taking Red Dead. Mario Party 2. Do this one not have an opponent first? Is this just the first Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic? I like the second one more. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not. We're going to take 64 here. Smash Ultimate. Knights of the Old Republic. Red Dead. Mario Party 2. It's sneaking on through. Grand Theft Auto 5. Red Dead 2, I think, takes it here. Ooh. This is like super blasphemous. Mario Party 2, though. Ironically, we have 2 people with cowboy hats. I mean, these are both really good games. I don't know why Mario Party 2 made its way on this list. Somebody else must agree that it's the best one. I mean, if you had a tougher opponent, I would have maybe gone elsewhere, but I think the champion's Mario Party 2. Awesome mini games. It's a fun like board game style game. All right, let me hop that off. Do we have any other lists or brackets we can do here? If anyone has any suggestions or anything they want to see done, I thought about doing like cartoon characters, but I didn't find a good one for that. I also did plan to do video game characters, but apparently we got video games. We can also try like a different TV show or movie one. Or like horror character one. Horror movies, maybe? Sure. Although I probably will offend so many people with my choices for those. What does it say here? Yeah, I mean, there's a horror movie favorites one, but a lot of them are like classics that I probably haven't seen all of and won't have the strongest opinion on. We also have best movie all time. Seen kind of similar movies on that though. What is a good maybe last one to do? Trying to think what could be fun to run through that we haven't like fully done. I mean, I can look at game characters, but I close some of these tabs now. Video game mascots. Is that characters? That's a pretty short list, though. Yeah, not going to do that one. What do we have else on here? Best male video game characters. That's weirdly descriptive. $128 great video game characters. I don't really know a lot of these ones on that one, so probably not going to pick that. Video game main characters? That sounds like it could be a good one, but once again, not a big list. I was hoping for like something more lengthy. Yeah, none of these are really... Okay, these are most attractive video game characters. I don't think we need to look at that. We'll do this one. And then if anyone else has any other input, I'm open to it, but we may close it out afterwards. All right, so let's pop that back up. All right. So we have Mario versus the Borderlands robot. Borderlands has kind of had a rough go of it lately. We're going to pick Mario. Although Nintendo also maybe have had a bit of a rough go. Undertale guy or Tails? We'll say Tails. Bowser or I guess that's Altair from Assassins. Go with Bowser. I feel like the hard part with characters, that will be probably Nintendo heavy because they do a really good job at like making iconic characters. All right, we got Hitman, or is this the Devil May Cry guy? All right, so we're doing characters. We're not doing their games. Need to keep that in mind. I mean, Agent 47, whatever his name is kind of cool. Okay, you're dogging me on this one. Like, how do we get some of these matchups? Then you give me Master Chief and Geralt, like, in one first round matchup. This could have been my finals, if I'm being honest. Like, this could have been my finals. Dang, this one's tough. This is, like, super challenging. I think because like The Witcher 3 is really the only, like, I didn't play the first two Witchers, whereas Halo, I played the first three of those. I lean towards Master Chief. I mean, Geralt's a cool character though. This one's hard. This is a weird first round. We'll go with Chief. Sora versus Star Fox. Once again, like what? These are like two of my maybe top 10. I dig Fox McCloud. I dig Sora. They're both great. This also could have been a finals. Kingdom Hearts is a great franchise, and Star Fox is also great. I think while maybe I like Kingdom Hearts more than Star Fox, Fox McCloud as a character, I think, is cooler than Sora. Yeah, because I'm trying not to think of the games, it's the character. All right, Mega Man versus Kratos. You know what? I don't really dig the Mega Man games, but him as a character, he was cool in Marvel vs. Capcom. I picked him a ton. We're going to pick him. All right, Snake versus Leon. I'm not big into Metal Gear, so we'll go with Leon here. It's going to be tough to dethrone Mario. Mario versus Tails. Mario takes that one. I mean, you got Mario versus Bowser, though, because he's going to beat Hitman there. You have, like, the iconic cartoons up top, and you have the iconic, like, more realistic characters down here. Fox McCloud or Master Chief. Man, that's like the coolest character from Xbox, and then like the coolest character from Nintendo. I mean, I picked Fox a lot in Smash. Man. We're going to go with Chief, but I do dig Fox. We'll go with some Resident Evil. We'll go with Leon. Mario versus Bowser. Character that I like more. I think my answer here is actually Bowser. I think I'm more of a Luigi fan than a Mario fan. I know he's less popular, but Bowser. Chief. We're going to go Chief again. Sonic versus Cuphead. Sonic. Ironically, Luigi versus Steve from Minecraft. I'm not a big Minecraft dude, so Luigi. Donkey Kong versus Ryu. Donkey Kong. I told you Nintendo just does a great job with iconic characters. Once again, Link versus Spyro. Good matchup. I like this. This is definitely a much better bracket than some of the other ones I saw. Yeah, Link is another character. He's probably my go-to in Smash, and then Fox is a close second. I do like Spyro, though. They did a really good job on the remake of the trilogy. Okay, we have Kirby or dude from Majora's Mask. We'll go with Kirby here. Majora's Mask I didn't love as much. Maybe if I played it again, it'd be a little bit better, but the whole time constraint thing I didn't love. Lara Croft versus Ganondorf. I think I like Ganondorf more. Nathan Drake versus Crash. Crash more iconic. I like Nathan Drake more. All right, so we have Cloud versus Pikachu. Well, I didn't love Final Fantasy VII. Cloud is such a cool character, and I'm not like big into Pokemon anymore these days. Sonic versus Luigi. Give me Luigi. Give me Link. I'm kind of assuming it's like any era of Link, not like from a specific game, even though that picture obviously is. Kirby's cool, but we'll take Ganondorf. Nathan Drake. Cloud, it's tough to deny Cloud, though. He's like super cool. We'll go with Link here. Drake. And we'll take Link over Drake. Pretty decent finals. I mean, it's maybe recency bias for me because I've gotten back into it, but we're going to pick Chief. That felt solid. All right, what else do we got out there? Is there another one we can do? Is there anything like, since we did talk Dexter, maybe there's something good there. What is the bracket? Okay. JDev, I don't know if you're still here. We have, maybe we'll close out on this one. We have a Dexter bracket of Dexter characters. So here's where I definitely get canceled. I've never done a Dexter character tier list, so we're kind of doing that here. Although, is it fair to have Dexter in his own bracket? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, Dexter or Cody. This is definitely the 116 matchup. They did it right this time. Dexter takes that one for sure. Deb or Geller, who is not even alive. Definitely Deb. Is this a hot take? I think I like Lundy more than Brian Moser. Yeah, poor Cody was never. Maybe if they bring him back for Resurrection, but he was kind of an irrelevant character. He was just an extension of Rita. I'm gonna pick Lundy here, honestly. I don't really. Brian Moser is okay. I think he's a little overrated. Okay, we have. This actually may explode JDev's mind, actually, because we have like his favorite character and then his, I think, favorite villain. I think he got the short end of the stick in this matchup with Hannah versus Trinity. It's an easy choice for me, though. I'm gonna say Trinity. Interesting. Masuka and Zack. Zack is would be a dark horse. I wish they did more with him, but they didn't, so I have to go based off what they did have. Masuka can be kind of annoying, but maybe in small doses, he's not too bad. Yeah, I think I like him more, but he just wasn't in the show enough to really have too strong an opinion. I think we'll go with Masuka. He's pretty much the Krillin of Dexter. Okay, this is easy. Also a season 2 matchup. We have Lila versus Dokes here. Easy Dokes choice here. We have Batista's sister and Harry. So we'll go with Harry here. I feel like including him as the conscious was definitely a smart choice. Yeah, they almost look alike too. It works. And they both kind of have the same roles in the show where it's like, you're part of the team, but you're kind of barely part of the team. Yeah, we go with Harry here. Batista and LaGuerta. I didn't like LaGuerta in a lot of seasons. She's kind of a good antagonist, so it works. But Batista? This is a weird first or like second round matchup because you have Dexter and Deb, and I mean, Deb may be my second favorite character in the show, but it's Dexter, so also they kind of do her dirty in, is it the beginning of season 8 where she just kind of like hates Dexter and is a little bit all over the place. This should have been a later matchup, but I mean, we're going to go with Dexter here. Also, iconic matchup that actually took place, and they also look similar, Lundy and Trinity. I mean, Lundy's in 2 seasons, Trinity's only in 1. But I guess he's actually in half of season 4. I think Rita's on the other side. I can kind of see her. So this bracket like website's a little weird where you do the entire left side and then you pick somebody for the finals and then you move on to the right side. So I think Rita, it will be coming up. I can't see them all per se, but it's a little easier to see than previous ones. This one's hard for me because I feel like I wish Lundy was in more of season 4. I think I like him more than maybe I should. We'll say Trinity though. We have Krillin versus Nappa now. I think I'm taking Nappa, Dokes for sure. This one's hard. I mean, because Harry, he's kind of a character. Batista was probably my favorite Miami Metro. Well, then there's Gwen too, so I don't know. I think I like James Remar more though as Harry. Like, I think that was missing heavily in New Blood, so I think I'm gonna pick him. Also a matchup that took place previously. I mean, this is kind of silly because I think Dexter's just gonna win this whole thing, but we'll advance him here. Once again, I think we're gonna go with James Remar. And you have Dexter and his pops here. I mean, we're gonna pick him, but all right, Lumen and Rita. Lumen kind of looks like Ronda Rousey here in this photo. I feel like Lumen's less annoying of a character because Rita doesn't really get involved in Dexter's like day-to-day stuff, but it makes sense for her character not to. I think we're gonna say Lumen, but it's kind of a tough matchup. Okay, so we have the best part of season 6 compared to the worst part of season 6. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming whoever picked these matchups kind of did something intentional with it, or not. Maybe it was random. Yeah, I mean, you got JDev. You missed the cancellation earlier. Although, let's be honest, who do you think your favorite character is between Hannah and Trinity? Like, she had a tough first round matchup. I think we're going with Mos Def here. Okay, we have Matthews and what's his name? I don't know why I wanted to say Steve, but that's not it. Lewis Green. You take Hannah over Trinity? Okay. Would you take Hannah over Dexter? Because Dexter's on the other side of the bracket too. Yeah, it's Matthews here too. Oh man, How can you do this to me? You have like the coolest Miami Metro guy, and then you have the coolest villain. Yeah, I think for you, at least Dexter would have beat. I don't know why Dexter's on his own like bracket list, because it feels like he's gonna clearly win. I really like Quinn, but Miguel is my answer here. This one's kind of weird. Like Lumen and Brother Sam. We didn't get a whole lot of him, but I did like Brother Sam's character. As I mentioned, like season 6 is not great, but he is the bright spot in season 6 for me. Whereas season 5 I think is okay, but I don't think Lumen like raises it at all. So we'll go with him. Take all your favorite characters and put them against it. That feels like it's happened with some of these brackets where it's like, oh, the 2 best things, they're round 1. Have fun. Definitely you. This feels like a weird semifinal because you have like character that I don't overly care about versus character I do really like. Feels like this right side of the bracket was very bizarre. It goes Dexter, Dokes, Hannah, Lundy, Trinity. Yeah, we had Dokes on the other side too. So I guess you would have had him higher. It's definitely Miguel. I mean, I like Miguel more in maybe some moments, but it's probably just Dexter. So yeah, with Dexter, we had Cody in this, J-Dev. We had Dexter over Cody, Deb over Geller, Lundy over Brian, Trinity over Hannah, Masuka over Zach, Dokes over Lila, Harry over why am I blanking on her name? Batista's sister, Jamie, right? Maybe. Batista over LaGuerta, Harry over Batista, Dokes over Masuka, Trinity over Lundy, Dexter over Deb, which was a tough one, Dexter over Trinity, Harry over Dokes, and then Dexter over Harry on the left side. I feel like the left side was more stacked with top tier characters, whereas the right side had a few of my favorites, but had a lot of like low hanging fruit as well. Jamie, yeah. Is there any other ones to do before signing off? I'm kind of just randomly searching brackets for stuff now. I mean, I like Harry. I mentioned this earlier too. I think New Blood struggled without having Harry, whereas Dexter as a show went on without Dokes. They probably did him a little bit dirty early, but like Harry as a concept, I don't think is even in the books. But that's a big factor for why I like the show, is having James Remar to like bounce his thoughts off of. It's a little conflicting now that we've got an original sin as far as Harry's character, but I like the original series version of Harry. Is there anything else to rank or do brackets for before closing out? I'm trying to think what else. Like TV show characters, movie characters. Best TV show characters. What's on this one? This maybe. The problem is if I haven't seen the show, I'm gonna like totally just make something up. You have a lot of Dexter videos for the week of the finale. Nice. That's good timing. Definitely makes sense to drop them around that point. I'm surprised we haven't gotten more news on Original Sin, but it may be they're waiting for the end of Resurrection to give like dates and stuff. What else do we have here? I could do like superheroes. That's kind of maybe a lame one, but MCU heroes. Yeah. Problem is, I probably don't know every superhero too. So if you're picking these like obscure ones, I'm gonna be like, oh, guy with you know, gauntlet on his hand. That guy for sure. We could probably do this one actually. It'll be quick. And I actually think I know all the characters here. All right, so we're picking pretty much any version of this character, not a specific representation, because this is clearly Batman from the Arkham games. Then we have Spider-Man like Tom Holland. I like Spider-Man more than Batman as a concept, I think. Wonder Woman and Black Widow. I think I like Black Widow more. So far, DC's not doing too great. Captain America over Black Panther. Thor over the Green Lantern. Spider-Man over Black Widow. Thor over Captain America. This could have been my finals. Thor versus Spider-Man. I feel like I really like Thor, then I kind of grew out of it a little bit. Spider-Man's kind of timeless. Superman versus Iron Man. Both highly regarded, but not ones I love. Finale predictions, finale reviews, seasons ranked, villains, antagonists ranked, top 50 characters. Top 50 characters? I mean, there probably are that many. Who's your 49th favorite character? I guess with that many seasons of a show, you have like 10 seasons or whatever. You're going to have like a lot of characters. I don't really, as I said, I don't really like Superman or Iron Man. People love them, but I don't really care for either one. I guess Iron Man. I don't know. We're definitely leaning Marvel on this. Hulk is cooler than Aquaman. I'm dogging on DC clearly here. Ant-Man versus Raccoon. We're taking the Raccoon. Deadpool versus Doctor Strange. We'll take Deadpool. Yeah, this right side is way weaker than the other. Because, like, once again, Hulk and Iron Man, like, MCU Hulk kind of sucks. Hulk as a character is a little more fun, though. I don't know. We'll take Hulk, I guess. I mean, Deadpool, sure. Sure. Spider-Man versus Deadpool. Spider-Man. Easy choice. You went with the top 35 last time you did it. Yeah, you probably got a decent number of new characters at this point, too. Are you including new Resurrection characters? What's another thing to do? Original Sin and Resurrection. It'd be tough for me to probably judge my thoughts on some Resurrection characters that quickly. Especially some that get maybe introduced in the back half of the season. Not many new ones from Original Sin. Also, are you treating like the Original Sin actors as the same as the Dexter ones? Like, is Batista one character, or is it like Original Sin actor of Batista versus like David Zayas version of Batista? Because that's kind of hard when you combine them, because like, as I was saying, I like James Remar Harry. I don't really care for Christian Slater Harry. So that makes it a little bit tougher. What else could we do real quick? How many are on here? More than that one. Ooh, that one's pretty. This is super lengthy. Jeez, holy. Which one of these should I pick? This one's a lot shorter. I'm looking at different ideas. I may do a music one, but there's one that's super short. Then this one feels like super long. But I mean, it probably wouldn't. Oh, there's a good number of. We'll try music one. All right, let me pull that back up. All right, so we have metalcore bands, so very different topic entirely. Probably won't go into too much detail with these because there's a lot on here. In Flames, Invent Animate, or If I Were You, we'll go with Invent Animate. Era, For the Word Alive. Trivium or Amur, Trivium. Ooh, I've gotten really into Memphis Mayfire recently, but A Day to Remember is kind of a go-to. Ice Nine Kills or The Amity Affliction. I used to be really into The Amity Affliction. I kind of fell out with them. Ice Nine Kills, it's tough because they don't do a whole lot outside of the horror stuff, but we'll pick them. I know, 1 of 8 so far. That's fair. I'm glad. The other one I was debating doing, they had some logos on there. I'm like, will I know the band? Capture the Crown or Miss May I? Miss May I? 3 out of 10. All right, you'll be doing decent. Alison or While She Sleeps. We'll go with While She Sleeps. I am kind of flying through these two. Gideon or Dance Gavin Dance. DGD for sure. Kill Switch or Tear Out the Heart. I don't even know Tear Out the Heart. Kill Switch is an easy choice. Siler or Wage War. We'll go with Wage War. Siler, I only like a couple songs of theirs. Parkway or Betraying the Martyrs. Parkway. We Came as Romans or Sleeping with Sirens. Let's go with We Came as Romans. Both of those were decent choices. Thy Art is Murder or August Burns Red. We'll go with August Burns Red. Wage War, yeah, that's your Blur song. Phineas or Devil Wears Prada. Devil Wears Prada for sure. Oh, I mean, actually, these days, this is an easy choice. As I Lay Dying, iconic band. Tim Lambesis, kind of bad guy, so Architects. Escape the Fate or Abandon All Ships. I only really know like one song of Abandon All Ships. Escape the Fate. I feel like I prefer Ronnie's Falling in Reverse stuff, but I probably know more Escape the Fate songs, but we'll go with Abandon All Ships here. They're kind of a little bit more electronic, but that's fine. I don't know if I can read this one, honestly. You love when bands love to do that kind of font. I feel like I'm seeing Craven something turn. Sienna Skies. I don't know if I overly know either of these. I can't even read the text of this one, so if I can read your logo, you advance automatically. Ooh, All That Remains, Pierce the Veil. All That Remains. Something Burn. Yeah, that's as far as I got. Okay. I've never heard of We Buttered the Bread with Butter, but iconic name. I feel like I know of Alpha Wolf, but I couldn't name any songs by them. I think I should pick this, but strictly off the name, I feel like I have to pick that. All right, Slipknot or Demon Hunter. I'd probably like Slipknot a little more. Make Me Famous or Tesseract. I don't know much about either. We'll go with Tesseract. Any Given Day or Bad Omens. Bad Omens. Born of Osiris, I Prevail. Once again, I only really like a few of their songs, whereas I Prevail, I know more of their stuff. They're going to be different, though, without one of the lead singers. We'll go with I Prevail. Under Oath or Volumes. Ooh. We'll go Volumes, I think. Under Oath, I mean, they don't do much nowadays. Breakdown of Sanity or Avatar. I don't know if I know much of them. We'll go with Avatar. Dead by April or For All Those Sleeping. Dead by April we'll go with. Yeah, you got the Underoath down. Avenged Sevenfold or Black Veil Brides? This is like the staple answer, but this is like the I'm a teenage girl answer, but I may wind up picking this one. Yeah. Make Them Suffer or Hands Like Houses? Hands Like Houses. Yumi at 6 or Fit for King? I've gotten more into Fit for King lately, so we'll pick them. Of Mice and Men or Bury Tomorrow? Of Mice and Men. Yeah, I guess. Their stuff is a little bit more trying to be like edgy. Woe Was Me or Suicide Silence? We'll go with Woe Was Me. This is a tough one. We'll say In Flames. Ooh, another tough one. We'll say Era. Day to Remember. Miss May I. Oh, come on. This is an unfortunate first or second round matchup. It's got to be Kill Switch though. Parkway. I'm curious what's going to be on the other side of this bracket because I feel like we hit a lot of heavy hitters on this side. August Burns Red. Ooh, Architects. I know more of their stuff, so that one. All That Remains. We had a good run. Bread with Butter. Slipknot. That is true. I mean, a lot of like edgy sounding bands could probably recycle the same concepts. We'll go with Bad Omens here. Volumes. Black Veil Brides. I probably should have picked Avenged Sevenfold. That's okay. I haven't heard a lot of like recent stuff from Hands Like Houses, so Fit for King is winning for this one. I saw them a long time ago, but Of Mice and Men, Era for sure. Day to Remember. I mean, this should be my finals probably. Kill Switch or Parkway? Man. This could easily be my finals. I don't know. This one's tough. I feel like Parkway has catchier stuff, but I like the lyrics more of Kill Switch. You also have the complication of multiple lead singers over the course of Kill Switch. I'm assuming we think Jesse more so is present, but they both, him and Howard, were in the band. This is very tough. I'm probably going to say Kill Switch, though. Another tough one. August Burns Red, Architects. I may go Architects here because I like a lot of older August stuff, but not as much as their later songs. Yeah, I probably should be thinking of it something like that, like having a more tangible comparison other than just me being like, oh, this one sounds cooler. But I may like more August songs, but Architects is pretty consistent. Actually, I had a couple of their songs in my latest music themed video. They have like Black Hole and Whiplash. They were in that one. Gravity's an old one. I think that's one of the first ones I listened to that I liked by them. But this is the same situation where I feel like I like the lyrics. Well, actually, Architects have pretty good lyrics too. I'm talking myself back and forth between these. I think if you asked me a few years ago, this would have been the easy answer, but for today, we're going to say Architects. All That Remains. Ooh, Slipknot or Bad Omens. I do like Slipknot. I do like Corey Taylor and like that gang, but if I'm thinking what I'm going to play more often, it's probably Bad Omens these days. I mean, Black Veil Brides are making a run for it. Fit for a King. This is a tough matchup. Era, I feel like, is maybe a little bit better as a band, but A Day to Remember, it's hard not to like their stuff. They're a little bit more, I mean, actually Era's kind of catchy too, but A Day to Remember's definitely got the catchy vibe. You don't have to be into metalcore to like A Day to Remember, whereas Era, you kind of do. I mean, I've said Homesick is like one of my favorite albums, so we'll say A Day to Remember. Gonna say Kill Switch here. Ooh, All That Remains and Bad Omens. This is like 2000s metalcore and modern metalcore. Did remember sings. Trying to think of ones that would be like popular enough to know. To reference the song, you know, it's the one that's like, I never said I'd let you go and I never did. Like that's that song. But they have a lot of like popular sounding stuff. The Downfall of Us All is like one of their popular songs. They have a lot of weird song titles as well. I think some of their older stuff, they didn't go like full Panic at the Disco song title, but some of them have kind of unique song titles. This is tough because like 6 and 2 Weeks and those kind of songs, The Air That I Breathe, were like awesome, but Current Bad Omens is really good too. We're gonna say All That Remains. Yeah, that song. I don't know as much of their discography, but Fit for a King, I think, is kind of a rising star for me. Yeah, songs like that. What's the one that I'm thinking of? Like something Larry. Where's that? Turn this down so we don't actually just start blasting music. Is it on? Yeah, I'm made of wax, Larry. What are you made of? Like, what a goofy song title. This one's Kill Switch. All That Remains. And Kill Switch. All right, now that we've taken so much time on that. Periphery or Bless the Fall? I really liked Periphery in the past, but I haven't heard them in a while. Bless the Fall is more I'm into now. But I think Periphery will go with. Oh, nice. Yeah, I feel like they've had some drama lately. I don't remember for sure, but I thought their lead singer had some drama. Veil of Maya. I don't really know Sworn In. I dig both these bands for the most part. Kingdom of Giants is a little bit newer for me. I had one of those songs in my recent music discussion video too. We'll go with them for kind of a upstart band, for at least for me. Maybe they've been around for a long time. I used to really like Moss the Flame, so we're gonna pick them. Yeah, back when they had more popularity. We'll go with Ocean's 8 Alaska. I don't have much on both bands. Bring Me the Horizon. Ooh, I mean, this is dated information. This is back when they used their old name, but this is Electric Callboy. I like Attack, but I mean, they kind of have come back, but not the same as when they were older, but we'll go with Electric Callboy. Attila or Silverstein? Definitely Silverstein. Yeah, it's hard not to pick them. Ooh, this one's hard for me. Crown the Empire or Crystal Lake? Fun fact for anyone who doesn't know, Post Malone tried out for the band Crown the Empire, and he did not get accepted, and then went on to be a super popular independent singer. So kind of funny. I mean, it probably worked out for both groups, but it's always kind of what I think when I think of Crown the Empire. But I like a lot of their stuff. Crystal Lake, though, I think they may have disbanded, but they go pretty hard. I think I'm going to wind up picking them, but I have Songs by both bands I really enjoy. We'll say Crystal Lake. Motionless in White, Occurrence, Motionless. They're also kind of in that Black Veil Brides, like kind of for like teenage girls, but I like some of the songs still. Issues or North Lane. Let's go with Issues. Asking Alexandria or Our Hollow, Our Home. I'll pick Asking. I know they had some kind of drama with the recent, was that at Warped Tour they played and people were not happy, but we're going to take them. Emarosa or Whitechapel. I don't have a lot of interest in either, but Emarosa we'll go with. Bullet or Alex is on Fire. Definitely Bullet. So we have some pretty heavy hitters on the side too. Maybe this is blasphemous, but I'm going to go with Icy Stars. They definitely have that more electronic vibe that I talked about earlier, but Falling in Reverse is just okay to me. Atreyu, nice. Or Skylit Drive. They have a pretty good cover of that Eminem song, but we'll say Atreyu. Novelist or Between the Buried and Me? I don't think I know Novelist, so Between the Buried and Me. Polaris or Upon This Dawning? We'll go with Polaris. Didn't we have Wait. Didn't we have these bands earlier? Ocean's 8 Alaska, Invent, Animate? I could have sworn we had them on the left side. I'm pretty confident we did, but we're going to go with Invent, Animate. Make Me Famous, or... Okay, we already had Our Home also. I'm seeing duplicates down here on the right. It feels like we're going to give some of these bands a second entry. I don't get that, but... Sure. Okay, yeah, we're definitely... We'll give Avenged Sevenfold this chance because we decided to just... What is happening? We just like ran out of bands, so we started doubling up. Watch my finals be Kill Switch versus Kill Switch. I'll take Escape the Fate here. I don't know why we're repeating bands. So we're gonna fly through. Okay, we have Bring Me the Horizon also on the same side as Bring Me the Horizon. What is happening with this list? What is happening with this list? Both these are good, honestly. Architects, I guess. This is why this list was like double the length of the other one, because they just put the bands on here again. Are we near the bottom? If we're near the bottom, I'll continue it, but it's like, what is happening with this? Okay, we're near the bottom. Yeah, right. I don't think we got them on the right side again, but we may have a repeat matchup if we get somebody that they already beat on the left. These are both solid. I was about to say Periphery, but we'll go Veil Mai, actually. Kingdom of Giants, I want to hear more of. Okay, we just saw these, but it's going to be Bring Me versus Bring Me at the end. Ooh, I like more of Electric Callboy stuff than Silverstein. I like a few other songs, but not as many. Crystal Lake, Emotionless in White. I think I like more Motionless songs, but the Crystal Lake songs that I do like, I like more. We'll pick that one. Asking for that. Bullet. Atreyu. Polaris. Invent, Animate. Okay. You know what? Because we gave Blackfield, we'll go with Avenge this time. It gave me my Retribution. This is a matchup. I mean, Bring Me has such a larger discography, I feel like. They've also have more diversity in their sounds, which may make some people mad, but we're going to say Bring Me, actually. Architects. Parkway. Silverstein. I'm surprised Silverstein counts as metalcore. I guess it kind of does, but I'm gonna keep giving the new guy some love. We literally just had this matchup. Maybe I'll pick them on this one to give them a chance. Yeah, I mean, not taking into account current situations. Bullet. This one, I'm pretty neutral on both these guys. We'll go with Invent Animate. I'll take Avenge there. That's why matchups do matter. Like, you may have somebody get knocked out early. It's like, you could have gone to the finals if you went somewhere else. We'll take Bring Me here. Parkway. It's going to be another Parkway versus Kill Switch fight. Callboy will take that one. Bullet's going to take that one. Avenge will take that one. Once again, falls in the category Parkway. I like the songs I like of theirs more, but I like more Bring Me songs, I think. We'll go with them. Electric Callboy or Bullet? That's tough. Old, like, iconic band versus, like, newer iconic band. I could see either way. We're going to go with Bullet. Bring Me the Horizon. We'll say Bring Me the Horizon. And, I think we're going to say Kill Switch. I don't know if I would have picked them as like my go-to metalcore like top band, but apparently they survived enough that they wound up coming out on top despite other people having double entries. So, all right. Let's see if another one comes to mind quickly. Otherwise, may close things out. What else could be worth doing a bracket for? There's a best bands of all time. That list is extremely long though, so probably won't do that one. We'll see if this one's got a TV shows one, because we did TV shows on the other website, but I didn't really look on this side. Greatest modern TV shows. Okay, this thing's only like half filled up though, so is there a better one on here? Best TV shows of all time? Okay, this list is a little bit longer, although I, from first glance, don't think I've seen a lot of these, so we may be doing a little bit of guessing. All right, this will be the final one we do. Okay, The Wire versus Gotham. Haven't seen either of them. I feel like The Wire is so highly praised, I have to pick it. Maybe at some point I'll watch it, but for now, we're just gonna advance it. Simpsons. I haven't seen either of these, so we're just gonna say Narcos. X-Files or Stranger Things. I'm glad I at least know what this is, Mr. Robot, or is this Boardwalk Empire? It just says Empire, but I'll say Mr. Robot. We have Dexter this time, JDev. We'll pick that over House of Cards. Snowfall or 24? I don't think I've even heard of Snowfall, so by default, 24. Breaking Bad or Family Guy? Breaking Bad. All right, yeah, so this one's pretty quick. Even though I haven't seen it, I just feel like The Wire is better from the vibes I get. Stranger Things. Dexter. Breaking Bad. Maybe on watch I would change this thought, but Stranger Things wins for now. Dexter wins for now. Dexter beats Stranger Things. What's on the other side we got here? Sopranos, and I've seen this guy before. This is like an NBC show or something. Like Prison Break, maybe? We'll say Sopranos, just off of name recognition. Chicago Fire or True Blood. Talk about two things I probably have zero interest in watching. So there's that. Because we'll pick True Blood, I guess, but neither. Heroes, I used to be a big fan of. Definitely picking that one. Kind of fell off at the end. I haven't seen either of these. Ironically, they both seem related in theme. Yeah, I mean, True Blood's not my go-to, but it had a pretty favorable first round. I know more about Orange is the New Black, but I didn't watch really either. I mean, we'll pick that because I don't have a strong opinion here. This is what, Boondocks on this side, and then Burn Notice. What are these, like, shows? This are really, like, the top shows we chose to use for this list. We'll pick Boondocks just because I actually kind of know it. Walking Dead versus Lost. Jadev's head has exploded because he cannot choose between these two. Which one do I like more, The Walking Dead or Lost? I finished Lost, but it's also extremely shorter than The Walking Dead. I think I like Lost more. I think that's right. I don't know either of these. Power, sure. Is that at least looks like 50 Cent? I don't know if it is, but... Or I guess Curtis Martin, is that what is the name? Curtis Jackson? Game of Thrones or Weeds? So I've seen more Game of Thrones, so by default that one wins. This feels like the right side of the bracket was not very strong. Sopranos. Heroes. Lost. Game of Thrones. Heroes. I don't think I can accurately judge Game of Thrones. We'll give Lost the edge. We're going to put Heroes. And then Dexter over Heroes. Pretty anticlimactic ending, but we got some different shows than we had on the earlier one, so that was kind of fun. All right, I probably will wrap things up here. Been streaming for a while now. So, appreciate anyone hopping in. Jada, appreciate you being here. Lexi, appreciate you being here. Dad's Expensive Hobby, appreciate you being here as well. I think that was most of who hopped in here. Anyone lurking, thank you as well. But I think we're going to wrap it up on that. Just figured something different, doing a live stream, not just doing like Spire all the time, just having more interactive stuff available if people want it. And yeah, as mentioned, kind of upcoming stuff. I do need to watch the new Resurrection episode and review it. I also probably will, for collectible people, will do something on Bakugo at some point. So those are kind of upcoming things. On the movie front, I don't think there's really much prior to Weapons, so we'll see. I may come up with some other ideas as far as video stuff to put out, or maybe we'll do more lives over the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Either way, appreciate everyone being here and hanging out for a bit. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the Friday and a great weekend. Take care, guys.